So, singer, actress Keke Palmer has developed a show. She's an executive producer with a show. She's launched a show about a Asian woman who was raised by black people. She was raised in the South by black people, in Georgia by black people, and she's going to an HBCU. She's a new student and attending an HBCU. So in the show, and some I haven't seen it, but I've seen people review it or whatever. I've seen enough of it. In the show, there's a bunch of stereotypes and a bunch of things that people are not liking. People not messing with this. All right. Some people are saying that we're overreacting. Some people are saying that this is disrespectful and this is like an insult to HBCU culture. This is an insult to black culture. So that's what a lot of people are saying. So I'm having this conversation to get what people think. But let's put this into perspective first and foremost. All right. There are other people who go to HBCUs. Okay. They can have their stories told. But my thing is that why are we the ones doing that? Why do we feel the need to tell their stories for them? Okay. They go to HBCUs. That's not nothing new. The fact that this is being made you gotta be a stereotypical person. No, you don't. I want to get that for all of the people being all like, well, Asians do go to HBCUs. Yeah, we know. Nobody is surprised. We've been known that HBCUs are not exclusively black, but we know that. So everybody's all like, do y'all ignorant? Y'all don't know HBCUs aren't only for black people. We know that. We know that. And nobody's tripping. Nobody's saying Asians can't go to an HBCU. Nobody is saying that. Nobody is saying that non-black people can't go to an HBCU. A lot of non-black people go to HBCUs. Nobody who's tripping on that. Who has a problem with that? My question is, why does that need to be highlighted? Why does that need to be highlighted? Why, out of all of the stories that Keke Palmer could have told, if she wanted to tell a story of a young woman coming of age, going to an HBCU, I guess discovering who she wants to be in life, discovering new friends, learning new experience and all of this stuff, why did she choose an Asian woman when you don't even have stories of black women? You don't have stories of black women like that nowadays, coming of age stories of black women. You don't have stories like that. We are in a time where we barely have stories of young foundational black American coming of age stories. We don't have that. We don't really have stories for the youth like that. Back when I was growing up, there used to be stories of teenagers entering into high school, teenagers entering into college, teenagers starting their career and stuff like that. We used to have stories of that. Now we don't have any stories of that. You don't have any stories of a young black youth, male or female, coming of age. You don't see those stories. So why, when we have the opportunity to make that story, why would we give that to an Asian girl at an HBCU of all places? So that's my thing. Then I have another thing about it. Be like, okay, why couldn't she belong to an Asian family? Why make her a part of the black family? Like, why are you doing that? Okay, because then you open the door for a lot of stereotypes to be made through her, which is what a lot of people are saying. A lot of people who watched the show, they was all like, I grew up with cornbread and collard greens and soul food and all this stuff. Okay, a lot of people saying that. So why do we allow other people? And there was another Asian woman who was doing that. Fantasia or something like that. I don't know her name, but she was all that yo stuff. Why do we do that? Because and my question is for everybody who's all like, hey, oh yeah, mac and cheese. They said, I'm gonna let people come up in just a second. I just want to get this off my chest. All right, to open the room up, right? My thing is this: would an Asian person use their opportunity if they wanted to make a show about a young adult coming of age, a young adult going to college? Would they choose to make a story about a black woman who was raised by an Asian family going to an Asian school? Would they do that? Would they center a black girl going to an Asian school? No. If they had an opportunity to make a show about somebody coming of age, they would make that show about an Asian girl. So why, when Keke Palmer did this, why would she make this, instead of choosing a black girl, why would she choose an Asian girl? That's my question. I just have questions, and I'm seeing a lot of people talk about it on the timeline. So now we're going to open things up, and we're going to start allowing people to let it be known what they got to say. Hold on. Hold on. Everybody mute yourself as you guys are coming up. Waiting for my mom to get in here, but she might be doing something at the moment. Oh, if y'all request, come up then. Okay, so what we're going to do, let's get to Rashad. You can unmute yourself.
Hello?
Yeah.
What's up, brother?
How you doing?
I heard the news just like you. I had to join. Keke Palmer, I don't know what she's doing. Like, you're literally looking for attention. I think this is Lauren we dealing with. Like, her real name is Lauren anyway. But, like, during this time right now, we under a crisis. We being attacked on all sides. I think we need something that's more uplifting. And then on top of that, the Asian girl isn't even blazing. You just got a full-on, pure Asian girl, and then not knowing that the Asian community, they voted against us. Like I don't understand like the logic. I think us as BOK people, we need to cancel this show ASAP.
Mm,
We got other shows that need to be bring back, like rap shit and girlfriends and other shows. Like, why don't we bring those shows back? Why we keep on making these shows that's not spearing nothing? You just giving an open door for Asians to say they black now. Like I said, it's not right.
mm. Well, yeah, that's something else. That is something else. Let's be honest with it. There was a lot of the Asians who were out there saying that black people going to college, um, or black people didn't deserve to go to college because they were taking spots away from Asian people. That's what was being said. Let's be honest. And it does open the door. And one thing I don't like is that it's a disrespect to a lot of HBCUs. Let's be honest, because this is not no innocent little thing, or this is not a spoof. Because what this does is it socializes and normalizes stereotypes being made about HBCUs. That's what it does. Now, the students who go to HBCUs to get a college education, now they're going to be black exploitation stereotypes. Okay. And this is going to put a negative stigma on HBCUs and the students of HBCUs, which is particularly dangerous during this time. Because remember, about a month or so, really about a month ago, you had the situation where HBCUs were being threatened. And now we're talking about HBCUs, and now you want to put this stereotype on HBCUs, because I've seen little clips and stuff like that. And it's full of the black women acting all stereotypical, the black men acting all stereotypical. So you're putting this black ghetto stereotype on HBCUs, and you're trying to use the Asian girl who's not black at all, not even half black, as a vessel for that. And I don't appreciate that. I find that to be disrespectful. But we got Ahmad BX in here. BX, how you doing? I
I'm
didn't know you were
fine.
going to be using that profile. I thought you were using the other one.
No, well, a Londoner, a Ukadian, brought my page down. So I
Oh,
guess he was upset from last night. But people were telling me be careful with him because he does bring pages down. So I don't hold nothing from the night before panel, right? So I get on another panel today, and next thing I know, he joins. He's like, BX, BX. And one of our FBA brothers is like, leave BX alone. And I'm like, no, 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 it's okay. So he asked me a question. I gave an answer. And next thing I know, I was hit with misinformation and I lost the appeal. So
Oh man.
so then he joins another panel I was on when he realized I was on my backup page and I blocked them. I'm not playing with these people anymore. You know, these tethers, they do it all the time, Afro. They like to dox, they like to report, but meanwhile, they like to come in our spaces. I don't go in any other space except for an FBA space. Why do
Hmm.
they all know my name? Like, because they assert themselves in things they really shouldn't.
Yeah. I'm sorry that
Okay.
happened to you.
Thank you. Hey,
Now, let me ask
Keisha.
you a question. Uh,
Yes. Hey, Blossom.
what the subject, right? The subject that we're talking about, right?
Right.
Have you heard about this?
I just made a post about it. It's in my community room on Twitter.
Okay.
So I said that because I am an urban fiction author. We are some of the strongest gatekeepers, and I told them how the Asians and Mexicans were making a play for urban fiction. We do know Donald Goines, um, Iceberg Slim. We know who started our literary art form, right? And why
Hmm.
they started it. But the Mexicans feel that they should stand next to us in urban fiction and urban movies. And I'm like, y'all got your own things such as La Vida Loca. Carlitos Way was a book first because I my neighbor brought it to my parents when I was younger. Like, y'all have your own things. Why do y'all always insert our name or think y'all should have what we have? We work the hardest. Then I noticed that urban fiction changed a portion of its description when they said gritty tales from urban settings such as New York, Los Angeles, Chicago, and Tokyo. I said, Tokyo? Where that come from?
No, hold on, brother.
So so then now I see Timberland. He instead of putting money behind his artist or something, he makes a creation of an AI Asian artist,
Do
and
it
he said,
again, and
"Yeah,
I'm gonna
here."
remove you, and you're not coming back up.
N-
Don't do that.
Now Keke Palmer does this. So to me, it insinuates an agenda, right? Because you're not going to be able to overtalk me. So it insinuates an agenda to me. But Asians practice group economics the strongest. They effectively locked us out of the hair industry. Get it?
Mm.
And the Africans, in order to run some shops in Harlem, have to go to Asian vendors. So even if we want to boycott the Asians and go to the Africans because we think we're going natural, we'd still be supporting the Asians because of the hair.
Mm.
So I heard about this. I think that this is horrible, and I think that sometimes it's us. We exploit our own culture, and I wish I could really be an advisor to some of these celebrities because it shouldn't be a backup cast of black folks and Asians to lead. It should be the other way around. And if you gotta have some diversity, what's wrong with one? But there was an influencer whose parents, she was Asian, whose parents or advisors
Mm.
taught her how to talk like in our vernacular, act like what they think that every negative stereotype there was besides twerking, she was doing. And she was getting a lot of money off of that or influencing deals and stuff like that. Come on now. Why would we exploit ourselves to them? You kind of seem like Kiki kind of seems like she focuses on making strides for Black Americans or Black people, right? Because not everybody is lineage only. They do operate off a race. So this is a total surprise. And I don't have to watch it because Black Americans still have the power of the boycott. So it's
Hmm.
not a matter of canceling, it's a matter of correcting. When
Yeah.
we have to fight, scratch, claw, and break every racial barrier there is,
Hmm.
and still somehow be seen as less than.
Hmm.
We don't have to support what we don't like if we feel it goes against the culture or the lineage, right? And we don't have to drag it down either. This may be the only time I post it or speak about it in this manner, but guarantee you, I won't be watching.
Mm.
See how that works?
All right. Yep. We're gonna get to handsome Zoe. Handsome Zoe.
What's going on, brother? You all right?
Yep. I'm good, brother. How you doing?
I'm doing good. So I didn't watch this because I don't really watch certain stereotypical things, but Yeah, people gotta understand. Keke Palmer come from the era like this movie reminds me, or wherever it is, of that era that Black America went through when they went from like 2008 to like 2013, where you had The Blind Side, The Butler,
Mm,
and all those movies. Negative black stereotypes. This
mm,
kind of, but it makes sense that that was Kiki's era. That was kind of when she was coming up as well. So of course she had like a probably a budget. So the easiest thing to do is push a black negative stereotype, and
mm,
that's just kind of how it is. And don't forget, she was under the Tyler Perry, Lee Daniels umbrella. So you know what they do to our image.
mm.
So what I say is, well, I remember someone said this. I don't know if you watch basketball or not, right? It's a slogan that you're the last person to realize that you fell off, right? Like you think you still got it. You think people gonna rock with you, but a lot of these black celebrities don't realize it's a new black because they've been sheltered. That's like someone like Kiki who's been sheltered her whole life. Her former blackness may be different because she's ran by Democrats and everything. So they teach her former blackness.
One moment, handsome. Did you
You
give
got.
us your ethnic group and if you're over 18? I see
Yeah,
Zoe in your name. I don't want to
yeah.
assume.
I'm FBA. Yeah, I'm FBA.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I'm over 18 too. But a lot of these black celebrities, and I'm noticing with a lot of them who just push these negative images. They fell off and they don't know it, and they think this is what Black America want now. But they don't know that we're on a different time. We're on a different playing field, and they're gonna keep flopping until they like something like Sinners. We need more movies like that. So something that's like more positive, more action based, and something that's like strong led. And there was actually an Asian in that movie, I think. But so it's just stuff like that. Like we can't be having these motherfuckers coming in. We got to ask this question: how long has Black America has put all these groups of people all in our movies, from the Mexicans, from the Asians, from the Jamaicans? If you think about it, we the ones who promoted Jamaicans as being crazy, and you don't want to mess with the tough Jamaicans in our movies, from Belly and all these other movies we created, right? We the ones who made Asians look like they had money, or Mexicans was the plug and all that. Like we put all that stuff in our movies. But I be looking at. I don't watch their movies, so I don't know if they put us in their movies. But these other groups, when they make their movies, it just kind of just be about them without even sensational us in it. So maybe y'all watch Asian movies without black people, and because think about it, black people are the reason why Rush Hour took off, why Bruce Lee took off. So, but we're
Why
not
Jackie
that.
Chan took off
Yeah,
too.
Jackie Chan, him too, right?
Yep. Jet
Um,
Li. Yep. Him too.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah, him too. Bruce Lee, him.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like I get it why they think it's still like that, because that was that generation. But now they got to deal with us. So what are you giving us for us to even give you that, that extra push to even put you out there like that? You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's kind of what I noticed from it.
Yeah, a lot of these celebrities, they really not up to date like that. They stay in their echo chambers and they stay around yes men and people who like that type of stuff, but they don't understand that the community is not for that. We on a different frequency right now. We really are. We are on a different frequency. This is not 2009.
Or eight.
All right, and thank you for that. Let me get a bacon egg is a bacon
Bacon,
egg
egg, and
and
cheese. Do
cheese.
your
Okay.
thing.
That is a
That's
long
one of our
name.
famous staples.
All
Yeah.
right.
Yeah. So, I mean, I know there's a lot of like movie buffs, people who
Yeah, ethnic group, bacon, egg, and cheese.
Yeah, I'm a Black American. Um,
Thank you.
yo. Yeah. What's up, BX? And BX, I was wondering what your take was on this, but I mean, my take is, I know it's a lot of movie buffs and people, like the young lady who, she writes books and, that deals with these types of things. So, I did see I saw a brief like commercial that show a part of the movie. From what I understand, Keke Palmer is foundational. From what I understand, I could be wrong. And I get it. She was involved with somebody that might have been biracial, whatever, had a baby. I'm not sure with that situation. I don't really keep up. But in my opinion, when it comes to foundational Black women, it's very hard for me to talk talk bad or talk down about their projects. Now, do I agree with the project? Do I think she could have had another person play this star role? Probably. And I understand that some things may not may not push the culture in the right direction. But I can appreciate the authenticity of Keke Palmer. And some people may disagree, but I think for what it's worth, she's doing what she can, and I don't think it's terrible. I don't think it's a terrible idea to be a producer. But people could feel free to disagree. I'm glad to hear.
All right.
Yeah.
Everybody's welcome to give their stance as long as it's respectful. I mean, whether you agree or disagree. Oh man, the person dropped off. I was just about to get to the next person. But whether you agree or disagree, I do think though, even though, because to my knowledge, I believe she is full FBA, and it is what it is. But you can still be problematic, and I don't like to, and maybe this might just be my take. Now I haven't seen it, all right, but my thing is that you being a part of the lineage, I'm not gonna. To be honest, to me that should mean you should know better. To me. You know what I'm saying? That should mean you should know better. I'm not going to sit up there and be all like, because I'm going to be honest. That means you understand what the stereotypes does to the people and how we look when it comes to stereotypes. And you sit up there talking about you got some McDonald's money. I don't really care for that necessarily. I really don't. I don't. I really don't. Now it could be a thing where we might be judging because it's not like we've seen it. You know what? It might not be that bad. We might not. So I'm allowing other people to give their stances. Now, I might not agree. I might disagree, but we're going to be respectful with it. That's how we're just going to do it. Let's get to, I don't know what, I guess that's a peace sign.
My name is Clark, bro.
Clark. All right.
I guess I'm Black American. I actually did go to HBCU, and I'm 29.
All right.
All right, I think so I did see the preview of it. I'm from for just context. I'm from the Bay Area, so I grew up around a lot of like urbanized Asians. So the I guess the what is it? The trailer didn't offend me or anything like that. I do think that I think it's just entertainment. I don't read too much into it. I think the only other reading a lot into it is because Keke Palmer's attached to it. Her being assume a Black American, full Black American, two Black American parents. That are reading into it a lot. I just think it's entertainment. I think a lot of people are like, well, she could have used a Black actress for this. I think that would just be like, we already seen that already. We've seen it in Blackish. We've seen it in Insecure. The plot of the entire, I guess, series so far, from what I can tell by just the trailer, is to highlight. I guess I'm gonna call it like, what's the word we use now? I can't think of the word, but I don't think it's quote unquote stereotypical. I don't think that's the point of it. I think it's supposed to be like a dramedy almost. So it's supposed to have like a comical essence to it, and they happen to use the Asian main character as like the punchline of it all. So I honestly look at it as more so comedy. I think when we are very critical about art in general, I don't really have too much of a sense in that, but I do know like when people talk about Black film that were produced that we kind of hold so high to our culture, a lot of those Black films were not even produced by Black people. So I think that if we're going to just accept the art for what the art is, you can watch it if you want, but I don't read into it too much. 'Cause like I said, it is slightly regurgitated. It is very 90s based. If you ask me, early 2000s based. It's literally, I mean, we've seen the movie multiple times. It's like a spinoff of a different world. It's dang near Blackish with an Asian main character. It's the same storyline. It just happens to have a different race as the focal point. And so I think that's something that obviously, if you love Black culture, if Black culture is included in it, it should still get the raves that it should have anyway, because you value Black culture and however it is presented to you, as long as it's authentic to what we live in our day to day lives.
All right. Now, and let me ask you this question though. You said that there were movies like in Black culture that weren't made by Black people, weren't done by Black people. What movies are you referring to?
I believe Menace to Society was one of those that we hold like high as like emulating Black culture, and that was not produced by a Black American at all. It was actually produced by uh, I believe it was Patrick something, but I can't think of the name. And there's a few others that came out of Hollywood in the early 2000s, early 90s that we have high regard to that were not produced by Black people. We look at it as a representation of Black American culture.
Do we look at Menace as society as I would kind of maybe I don't know if it's my family or me. I don't know if Menace to Society is like up on the like the super high Black culture thing. I don't know about that. You know,
Friday would be more of a
if you would have said Friday, then
yeah.
I could I can see that.
No,
But
you don't see Menace to
Menace to Society,
Society, Boys in the Hood.
No,
All of those I think are still Black, like in the Black culture. Those are like big. Those are big films. So it's like, I
it
mean, it may
depends
not
on
be the
your
most modern
generation.
representation. You
okay.
say, what is it?
I thought Menace to Society was directed and produced by the Hughes brothers.
I thought that too, but I heard that. I mean, I just googled it.
John
I don't
Singleton.
think
What did
that's
he
it.
do?
John Singleton did Boys in the Hood.
Okay. So I'm gonna say this about Boys in the Hood, Minister Society and stuff. Are those that are produced by Black filmmakers. It made strides for our Black filmmakers, maybe. So they were like, because at the time, we're locked out of everything. So then we had the Spike Lee type of thing going on. And so when John Singleton, F. Gary Gray, the Hughes brothers, when they came through with their movies, it was like a win for us. And when Nancy Grace used to have her talk show and they had a segment and I think they were talking about Tupac and some of the lyrics. That's around the time he was going at it with was it Dolores C. Tucker? And I was always of the belief that we have to teach our children fact from fiction or not how to focus on just one aspect of the culture. To me, certain films like Boys in the Hood was a call to awareness to what people were going through in Cali, right? And some parts of it did resonate with me as a New Yorker. Right. So I think that some films, even if we don't agree with them because of the what's in them, besides this here Asian stuff. But I mean, if it's focusing on us, and our oppressive systems and the things that we do to survive, I think it's a call for awareness, kind of. And so we do have to have the talk with our younger generation. Like, don't get stuck there. This is how you could combat it. And it's also a call to the legislators. Like, look, put some jobs in here. You heard what Furious was saying there. He was showing the history of what we would call the hood and why it was that way and stuff like that. So it was a nice balance there. They had Furious there to kind of counteract the life of just GANG banging. Get it? So it was a strive for our Black filmmakers. And for what it's worth, I know Tubi, some of y'all be getting on Tubi, but it has made less of I want to say a monopolizing type of platform for Black filmmakers, and a lot of urban fiction authors are now becoming screenplay writers. Like, it's a progression now for writers and Black filmmakers to use Tubi. So I always support them without bad mouthing them too much. I got a cousin that got a movie with her husband on Tubi. I know people. I write with people who have movies on Tubi. And after Money and Violence, even though I think they were Haitian from New York, they got me into web series, and now Detroit got the mantle for that because these men from New York elevated to like HBO. So certain art forms, genres, and stuff is a way for us to make some legit money. But if used right, we could use it as a tool to kind of legislate, talk to our kids, open up the conversation, and make a master plan on how we don't have to live in those conditions anymore. The bad part is that the immigrants migrate here and think that's all we are, that segment. And so we giving a lot of pushback. Like, Marshall's very good at this. I think it's only 17% of Black Americans in poverty, and the rest are in middle and upper class. But people get focused on that.
Now, he
Yeah.
wants to he because he's short on time.
Oh, I'm
Foundation
sorry.
wants to
Okay,
go
okay,
real
okay.
quick.
You know I could go.
Thank you very much. Thank you for your time, family. I appreciate it. As someone that's in the film industry, one thing about the film industry, they're very strategic on everything. You can even have certain designer clothing on or brand cups or things. They have to kind of turn the cup around. Everything's strategic down to the wording. Your words have to be right, everything, right? And so what I'm saying is a lot of these things are by design to create implicit biases, right? They are
Mm.
further pushing these narratives and implicit biases that's further in the mindset of making people showing 3% of our community that's doing 95% of the crime, but promoted 95% of the time. It is an agenda, right? So we can't say, well, it's just comedy. It's not that serious, right? Because you don't never see something anti-Semitic on these movies, and they say, and then you see Jay's talking about, well, it's just comedy. Don't that movie will be canceled in 2.5 seconds if they do have anything anti-Semitic. So we're not going to sit there and gaslight our people and say it's just comedy or it's just drama. Now, back in the day, yes, I get it, right? They utilize some of these degenerate movies to kind of come through the door, right, and get through the door to have to make a segue for more people to come in. But now we don't have to do that and have these type of movies anymore because a lot of people are not operating in this manner. Now there's studies that show that these films mold the minds, the subconscious mind of people, right, in the real world, right? And so the prime example, people of the Muslim religion, based off these movies back in the day after 9/11, now people think those are the main T people, when we know the main T people, domestic T's, are the people of the that lean right, right? Those are the
Mm.
people that's doing most of the T things, right? But due to implicit biases from some of these movies painting people of that religion as a certain way for the last 20 something years, people automatically equate T with them. Same thing with us. People automatically equate gangster, thug, DRUG dealer, and all these things as Black American people, right? So this is why you get a lot of people that say, well, you guys are gangster thugs, and even the immigrant class are utilizing this also because they watch a lot of these, straight out of Comptons and all these other movies when the average Black American are not operating in that manner. That's only 1 to 2% of the community that's game banging and doing a lot of these things. And so this is the problem, right? When you have other people writing your script, telling your narrative, you have these things, right? And this is why I'm heavy on let's make our own film, let's make our own movie, let's say it in our own words, because as we continue to allow other people to speak for us and create these movies, these are the type of movies that's going to continuously be shown because there is always an agenda to show us in a bad light, right? So this is very important. This is why I stopped being an actor and went into stunts because, and I'm gonna land on this. This is why I stopped acting and went into the stunt industry because I realized I'm out here trying to get regular roles and they keep typecasting me into thug, gangster, game banger. Had I went that route, I would have probably been on I would have been made it a long time ago. But the fact that I don't want to, and a lot of Black Americans, if you see this whole UK, well, UK is doing better. No, it's not that they're doing better. It's just that Black Americans are protesting these roles, and we're saying we're not standing for these roles, and these people don't care. They'll take it for $1, $2, as long as they get their face in front of the camera. So they are taking these roles, acting like us, and playing these very vile, nasty, demonic roles, and denigrating our people, our ancestors and our future descendants, right? So I'll
Mm.
land on that, but I think that we can't just, oh, well, it's just drama, it's just comedy. We can't do that, right? Because no other group is going to allow you to have another group say things or make movies in their culture or about their culture and disrespect and put implicit biases and say it's just comedy. We got to stop that. We got to stop accepting that and have some kind of dignity, self-respect, and standards. And I'll land on that.
All right, all right. We can get to the next speaker, but let me just harp on to what was just said. The thing that I saw from the snippets that I've seen and watching people make the takes that they've made, one thing that I don't like, and this not just with this particular projects, but I don't like when they have a non-black character surrounded by black characters, and then that non-black character becomes like a super stereotype. And what that does is that socializes people to believe that black people have this almost like contagious stereotypical behavior. It's a trope that when non-black, if a non-black person is around black people, they will be like absorbed into this stereotypical behavior. And they do that, and the non-black character is used as really to highlight the stereotype, because you don't expect that from the non-black character. So that's why when they'll have like a YT character, a YT man, he's around a lot of black friends. He got gold chains on, and he's cursing all the time, and he's sagging his pants, and he's yo yo yo, what's up? You know what I'm saying? It's a performance. They're very performative, and it just stereotype. It's a way to stereotype the black community through a non-black character. And this is something that I'm seeing that they're doing with the Asian girl. They're like highlighting a stereotype of a community through a non-black character. You know what I'm saying? And Asians wouldn't do this. Asians wouldn't stereotype their community through a non-Asian character. They wouldn't have a black character, you know, stereotypically talking in an Asian accent, you know, acting like they can't drive, or whatever stereotypes that the Asians do. They wouldn't put funnel that through or showcase that through a black character. The Mexicans wouldn't showcase their stereotypes through a black character. So it bothers me when I see black stereotypes being funneled through non-black characters. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I ain't feeling that.
Hey, Afro, can I go next?
Yeah, go ahead. And then after that, we'll get to Willie, and then No Shirt.
Cool. Hey, everyone. Yeah, there's many issues with this. I think my main issue is the one-sided promotion of the cross cultural collaboration. We do not see any other group putting Black Americans as a main character in any of their films. Not one. And we have so much work to do when it comes to media domestically and internationally to correct the Blaxploitation that has happened, to correct all of these different stereotypes that have been promoted. And we're in a time where we're furthering, our culture and determining what it means to be a Black American. And it's very, a definitive time. And art is supposed to reflect that. But because we're behind in that sense, it's like you're in the middle of a project and you're building this house, and then you have people who are supposed to be working on the house going to working on other houses. It's like we still have work to do to push our cultural image. And there's still work to representation that is still missing. We have not had a lot of HBCU stories, of coming of age stories. So to say as if it's saturated, we have hundreds of HBCU films that we've seen it all. We don't. It's very minimal of our global representation of our culture. So to center and prioritize another community in our efforts, it just literally it sets us back at the end of the day, because this could have been another coming of age for HBCUs to promote it in a positive light, or any other film around our culture in a positive light, because we're missing that. I think that's why Sinners was such a big hit, because we are literally hungry for proper Black American representation that is not rooted in some sort of stereotype or negative trope. We're hungry for that. And so I think she missed the mark. And I think the backlash is very telling because that's showcasing that a lot of people who aren't even I would say within maybe the FBA space are really feeling that like even if they can't put the words to it, they are really feeling like this is not right for especially for the time that we're in and the things that we need. So that was, like I said, that's my main issue.
Yeah, I mean, we got a lot of young black actors and actresses who deserve a spot to be the main character, who deserve a chance, and why should that chance be passed up for an Asian to play essentially the role of a black girl? You know, it's yeah.
Exactly. And it makes it doesn't make any sense really because who wants, like, who's asking for this? Who is like, what we really need? We really need, another community to be represented in our HBCUs. Like, who's the audience for this?
Mm-hmm.
This it doesn't make any sense.
Yep, that's true. Let's get to the other speakers. Thank you for that very much. I'm written. Let's get to Willie.
Hey, how y'all doing? I'm FBA. I ain't gonna be long, cause I don't. This is my first time hearing about this film here, but I'm glad to see she is Keke Palmer producing it.
Yeah,
I'm glad to see she coming up. But 2 points. One, I gotta disagree with you on one thing, Afro, is that Kung Fu Hustle. It was kind of stereotype.
the what Kung Fu Hustle?
Yeah, wasn't that the name of it when they was in the little apartment and they was doing all these awkward kung fu moves?
Did I? When did I say Kung Fu Hustle? When I, did
No,
I
I'm
say? Did
saying
I? I don't remember
no.
saying
I'm
that.
saying I'm saying now. You said that Asian people wouldn't have a stereotype in their movies of themselves. So I was
No.
just telling you that one movie, Kung Fu Hustle. I think it was it called Kung Fu Hustle
Yeah. Okay. I know what you're talking about. I know what you're
with the
talking
hat
about.
on.
Well,
Yeah, it was kind of stereotype.
yeah, it was in okay. That's
But
that's that's fair. That's a fair thing. I think that that's different though, because the whole movie was about it. It was supposed to be
all
the
Asian.
entire movie was a spoof, just like
Oh,
Scary Movie is a spoof. It wasn't like a coming of age story that depicts stereotypes, and the main character wasn't black either.
yeah, but it was asset. It was asset. But
I think it's a little different though. But
yeah,
okay,
well,
I hear
yeah,
what you're
but
saying. You
well,
can
you're
go
right
ahead
though.
though.
It did have a whole lot of all mostly all Asians in it though. But oh, and the second point is that the guy said that other people make black movies. Soul Plane was one. It was made by a Latino, which I didn't know that until the other day that a Latino made it. But that's good though. But he right. The guy, what was his name? Let LETME.
Yeah.
Let me get something. This guy here on the left.
LET.
Oh, let me get
Yeah,
a bacon, egg, and cheese.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah. He was right. We need to start making our own films though. If you know, if you don't want to go through that other part of the like Hollywood. If you don't want to go through Hollywood, it is correct. Even correct. We should be making most of all of our films. But that's it. That's pretty much it. That's all I wanted to go. I wanted to say.
Okay. All right then. Let me address a couple of things though. Still, even though the whole, I feel like first off, it's a little different. The whole, because I feel like a comedy and a spoof are really different. Because a spoof is supposed to be very exaggerated and almost as if stereotypical the entire way through. You know, that's what that movie was about. And I saw that movie. I know what you're talking about, Kung Fu Hustle. So that's it almost is in a different category. Plus, the main character doing the stereotypes wasn't black. you know. And it wasn't just stereotypes about Asian people. So it was stereotypes about everybody. But I'm saying if Keke Palmer was an Asian, Keke Palmer or if there was Asian Keke Palmer wouldn't do this in reverse. Wouldn't assign a black girl to play in the role of an Asian girl and funnel Asian stereotypes. You know,
I can't argue with you because I just haven't seen. This is my first time seeing this, so I
yeah.
can't argue with that. Yeah.
Yeah, I also want to add this because I'm seeing some people in the chat room say, well, don't watch it. If you guys don't like it, don't watch it. Okay, here's my thing with that though. Even if we don't watch it, it should still be called out. If we don't like something, if we think something that is being put out is stereotypical or could be harmful for the community, it is important that the community voice that we disagree with certain things. Okay, we can't just ignore everything that we do got to make our own movies. Good, that's true, we do. But when we see movies, when we see media being made to represent us in our community in a way we don't appreciate, in a way that isn't positive, we do need to call that out. Okay,
Yeah.
so I'm
Yeah.
saying that for the people in the chat room, like, well, y'all don't have to watch it, just don't watch it. No, it's not no just don't watch it. Our voice needs to be heard. That is something that we do not approve of. Okay,
Yeah. Yeah. I agree with you on that.
let's get to no shirt. I'm gonna have to circle people out because we got some more people coming in. So no shirt, you got it.
What's up with y'all? I'm over 18. I'm FBA.
What's the word, brother?
Man, you had a couple people. I think everybody went before me, so I kind of lost track of my thoughts. But I'm gonna be real quick. First thing I want to say is entertainment is not just entertainment. Music is not just music. We just can't ignore these things. We can't ignore these signs. It's not just for your own purpose. It is more than that, and it's deeper than that, and it always has been more and deeper than that since the beginning of time. Don't just try to sweep this stuff under the rug. And the 3 points I want to make is that this is about money. This is about exposure, and this is another way of culture infusion and acceptance, and which on the other end causes culture crisis. That's what I got to say about this. And if you don't understand that, I think you need to try to take a look at yourself in the mirror and understand who you are and where you come from, because things like this should not be accepted, and you should not just sweep it under the rug like, oh, it's just a movie. Because no, it's not just a movie. It's portraying something that if you were in that space, you wouldn't accept.
Mm-hmm.
And I land my plane there.
Hey, that's good. That's good. I like that because let's be honest, we're dealing at a very sensitive time right now where we're really setting boundaries and gatekeeping our culture. And we've been bombarded with people who keep on saying, hey, well, hold on, I can say the N-word. I grew up with black people. I can't be racist. My best friend is black. We grew up with people using that. Or when they act stereotypical about black people, oh, I love me some mac and cheese and fried chicken, and I love me some Kool-Aid. And then when we call out stereotypical and anti-black behavior and talking points, they be all like, hold on. No, I grew up with black people. I grew up in a black neighborhood. And this stuff really kind of perpetuates the stereotypes of an Asian girl who's not black at all. She gets to act like a black woman because she's around black people. And to a younger audience, that blurs the boundaries and blurs the lines of how they can act in our community. That blurs cultural lines, you know what I'm saying? So then next thing you know, why couldn't she say, if she can do everything else, why can't she say the N-word? She grew up with black people, didn't she? So it blurs that line and it makes us gatekeeping our culture more difficult.
Yo, I want to say one more thing because I had thought about this while you was talking.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Keke Palmer, she's been in the spotlight since she was a child. She doesn't know the real dynamics of this situation. She's been coddled and pandered to her whole life by the white tea community because she's been in the entertainment business her whole life. Celebrities like this don't understand and they need to be called out. I don't care if you do love her, if you do love where she come from and you do love what she's doing, and she still needs to be called out, just like a lot of other celebrities that are doing the same thing. They're giving free passes to other nations and other cultures to infuse themselves in ours.
Mm,
Period.
yeah, yeah. I mean, this is kind of like almost like an inward pass thing. She kind of that's how some people looking at this. This is like a low key inward pass she's giving to the Asian community.
Exactly.
You know, that's how some people looking at it. But gonna get to Kurt. He says he got one more thing to say, and then we're gonna get to Cash.
All right, so I have like a few points. So something that I think with the conversation is steering towards is representation a little bit, and so I think that we do ourselves a little bit of a disservice if we put so much emphasis on media, right? I know that the media plays a big part in how we like see ourselves, or we had seen ourselves in the past. I would say that because I know that some point representation was a lot more important, but I do think that giving so much power over to like the music or the entertainment business in general, which is obviously a business, and they're going to go with what sells, and then we're looking at these shows or these artists or these musicians or as representations for ourselves of the whole community. I think that also does a disservice to ourselves as well. And so a lot of times I don't look for the media for representation of my black experience, right? I think that's something that we probably did earlier in like the early 2000s, maybe the 90s. Again, like I mentioned before, like some of the black films we grew up watching, I think that played a significant role. But we didn't have access to the internet as much as we do now, so we have a lot more of a we can cater obviously our algorithm a little bit. You can kind of gear what you want to watch and what you want to see and what actually represents you as a black American. If there's certain films that you want to see that represent your community better or represent you as a person better, then you can tune into that. So when I say it's just entertainment, I do mean that's just entertainment, right? Like I think that that's where I think a lot of people are missing my point, is that you can have as much media as you want, but what you determine what you want to watch or what you want to give your energy to or what your power to, that matters a lot. Because although we're sitting on this TikTok right now and we're talking about the show itself, it's getting a lot more traction, right? So people are still going to watch it, even though you're saying that you're talking about not wanting to watch it or how damaging this could be to our community. People are going to watch it because it's now being sensationalized, right? It's a business and it's a marketing tool. I'm about 80% sure she knew exactly what was going to happen when she released this trailer, right? Because it's marketing, it's still a business. So at the end of the day, if you really feel like it's damaging to our community, yes, one, don't watch it, right? And then two, you kind of could, I don't know, like you can create what you want to see, or you can just again navigate the space a lot more easier, where you just start watching what you want to watch and you just kind of filter that out. And I think that again, I just don't like how we put in the black community, we put so much emphasis on media representation. And if we are in a new day and a new time, then this is something that I feel like is a little dated. Like I feel like looking at celebrities or the entertainment business in general as like the pinnacle of our representation is a little disservice to ourselves. And then that's all I wanted to land my plane with right there.
I think the thing that we're not really aligned with is that this isn't not necessarily about. And I know you said that was your last thing you're gonna drop down, so I'm gonna cycle you out. So I want you to listen to what I have to say though, because I want to bring some other people. Oh man, he's out of the request queue. I was gonna bring up my brother Detroit, but I want to let me speak to that, because I don't feel as if this is I don't feel as if we're relying on celebrities for our representation. Not in today's time, not in the current time are we relying on celebrities for our representation. But we do have to understand that our representation, not only to ourselves, but also to society at large, is very important. And every community takes their representation important. Every community does. And foundational black Americans, we should not take our representation to society any less serious than everybody else does. Everybody, if like brother Foundational said, if there was a thing that made that a certain community would find anti-Semitic, they would shut that down. If there was a movie that Asians found offensive, they would shut that down. Hispanics found offensive, they would shut that down because they are very sensitive about their representation. And we should also care very much so about our representation and media in particular, because, and I got to word my words carefully, media in particular has been weaponized to dehumanize black people in this country. You can go to the original birth of a nation. Media has been used as a weapon to sensationalize, to vilify, and to dehumanize black people. And then when you have movies like The Blind Side, when you have movies like Precious, when you have movies that perpetuate certain stereotypes, when you have media and entertainment that perpetuates certain stereotypes, what that does is that dehumanizes and that stigmatizes an entire community. And everybody knows this. This is why everybody takes their representation serious. Now, is entertainment our only representation? No, but entertainment is, especially in America, entertainment is a important factor in our representation. All right. So that's why we got to make sure that if we are to be represented, we need to be represented properly, even if it's a comedy, because you can do comedies about black people and not be over the top stereotypical that can either open the gates to cultural appropriation, which is kind of what I'm getting from this. I'm kind of getting a cultural appropriation vibe, and we don't need to open that gate under the guise of comedy, and we don't want any gate open under the guise of a stereotype on HBCUs.
You nailed it right on the head because I think he was getting a little disconnect because it's not just about how we view each other. Because you as a FBA man and me as a FBA man, we know how we think about each other, but it's different when it comes to what the world thinks about us when they're putting out that propaganda.
Yeah, we got to be careful with that. Thank you. Let's get to Cash, and then Omega, and then FBA Detroit.
Hey, thank you for having me, brother Afro Elite. Salute BX. Shout out the whole panel.
Salute.
Um, this is like my first time hearing about this, and so I had to go read some of the reviews and stuff and see what people were saying. Um, and one thing that I stumbled across that I found very disturbing, or a red flag, if you will. People are saying that there's a character in this show that is, I guess, like a dark skinned, heavy set black woman. I guess perhaps the stereotypical, what's the name that you would call it? I'm having like a brain freeze
Mammy.
right now. Yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so like she's supposed to be like all that negative energy that comes in the room, and the Asian woman, I guess, is supposed to be like that positive. And then here we go with the skin color, the skin tone thing. She's the more lighter skinned woman, and then the actual black woman. I would imagine she probably is a FBA. I don't know, but they got her playing this negative role, and I'm really sick and tired of our Hollywood people, giving away their power. I understand Hollywood is a dangerous game. I get it, but we gotta start holding these people more accountable. Whether it's the music, like with the what's her name again, Monet, whatever her name. Y'all know what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Keke Palmer, whoever else, because when it comes to music entertainment, we just need better representation, and we need our people to stay on code. We're in the middle of a delineation movement, and I really want us all to stay on code. And if that means we gotta like pull these people to the side and like, yo, Kiki, why you doing this? Yo, why did you say that? Why did you write this? Then yeah, we gotta be more proactive if that's what it takes. And I'm glad we're holding spaces like this. Um, so that way it keeps the momentum going with this delineation movement. And yeah, let's just keep holding hold their feet to the fire if we need to, keep calling them out, and we vote with our dollars. We don't gotta support these people when they disrespect us. And yeah, we don't have to watch them like somebody said, but we still do need to call them out and talk about it. And I'll land my plane right there.
Yeah. No, there's a history in America, especially in the South, when it comes to black women. You guys know the history where there was like a law made. I'm not exactly sure where this, like what state this started in, but there was a law made that black women had to have their hair wrapped up, had to have their hair covered or wrapped up or something like that. They can't have their hair show. Louisiana, thank you. I
Tegan
knew it was
Tegan
in,
lost.
huh?
Tegan
The
lost.
Tegan laws, thank you. And it was done because of the insecurity of white women. And they didn't like the fact that black women's hair was gaining them more attention, and they didn't like that. So they complained and they made a lot of noise about it. And then they had their male counterparts create laws to where black women had to have their hair wrapped up. So there's always been a lot of insecurities between black women and non-black women, right? Or really non-black women on black women, rather. And in media, what you see is because of their insecurities, what they like to see is they like to see a kind of in shape or more fit non-black woman. And in most cases, that woman is YT. And then they'll have a heavy set and stereotypically unattractive black woman. Okay. And in the movies or the TV shows, rather, they'll have the black woman who's heavy set, and they like to get a dark skinned black woman for it most of the time. They'll have the heavy set black woman be stereotypical. She'll be kind of goofy a little bit, you know what I'm saying? She won't really be that bright. She always kind of making jokes, always the butt of the joke, you know what I'm saying? In comparison, and they do this to juxtaposition her in comparison to her non-black counterpart, okay? She'll never be the main character. She'll always be, like you said, the sidekick. Like, thank you, the sidekick. She'll always play the background role. She'll always be the side character to a non-black woman, and that highlights the black woman, and that the non-black woman rather. That makes the non-black woman look more attractive in comparison. Okay, in the show or the movie, the black woman, she can never get a guy. She's always complaining about being single. The guys don't like her, and then the white girls, the guys chase after them, climbing through windows and all of this stuff. The guys in the show, they can't get enough for the white girl, but the black girl can't get no male attention. All right. And media does that because it makes the black girl look, or black women in general, because not just that, she's a proxy for black women in general, and it makes black women in general look less attractive to their non-black counterparts. All right. So when you said that they have a heavy set black girl, I already knew. I already know, because that's how they do all the time. And she's going to be the best friend, the ride or die. Nobody really like her. Nobody really wants her. But she's like the comic relief, ride or die black girl. You know what I'm saying? And they do it all the time. They do that all the time. And they're doing that this time just with an Asian girl.
Well, I don't know, because we often get criticized for being exploited for our culture, right? Like we often get criticized, like, "Hey, yeah, you guys have a great culture, but you don't own anything." And I think in this case, you have a young lady who's pretty brilliant, and I hear what you're saying, right?
Mm-hmm.
And she's pretty brilliant, and she's able to take the culture that she's a part of, and and use it to employ a ton of black people. You know, I think she's kind of turning the tide almost, and turning things on.
I mean, there's a right and a wrong way to do things, though.
Exactly. There's no excuse for
Yeah,
that.
like, let's not grade on the curve. And I'm not saying that she should never do anything like this, but if we don't correct this now, what's going to be the next project? If the community doesn't voice our disagreement and our disapproval with this project, what is going to be the next project?
And this also sends a message to other producers or other works as well when people are researching the temperature with this stuff. Because at the end of the day, this costs money and they're going to lose money. So they keep playing with this if they want to. They're literally going to continue to produce projects they're literally going to fail every time.
That's true. Let's get to, because I do want to hear what people got to say, but let's get to Omega, and then we'll get to FBA. We'll get to FBA Detroit.
B1, man. What's up to everybody on the panel? Everybody listening? Yeah, like the lady that was just speaking just said, I mean, I think, excuse me, I think it's kind of a good thing because it shows where people are standing in this time that we're, in this Renaissance era that we're experiencing as FBA. I'm always skeptical of the people, these all-inclusive Negroes that want to include everybody and kind of put our group to the back, so when people reveal themselves, hey, cool. But when you look at what she's doing, like she's been doing little off code type things here and there for kind of a minute, and the fact that the temperature of most of the people that are speaking is that they're not going to really support it, just basically is music to my ears because it's not going to catch legs. If we don't find it hot, if it's not hot with black folk, it ain't going nowhere. That's just what it is. And in closing, man, the only thing that a big tent is good for is a circus. Shout out Professor Black Truth. Y'all have a good one. I'm going to land.
All right. Appreciate that. That's true. That's true. The temperature, the community is not rocking with it. The community is not rocking with it. Thank you for that. Let's get to FBA Detroit.
What up, though, Afro?
What up, though?
Shoot, man, I was just sitting up here listening, man, and I was wanted to say a few things. One thing I had wanted to say was, you right. Everybody, every other race of people, when they have a problem with the way that their people are being portrayed in the public, and they voice their opinion about it, they get shut down immediately. It's kind of like that Washington Redskins mascot, how they didn't like the man being so dark, and it got eliminated. They didn't like the mascot being as dark as he was. So you right about that. And another thing that stood out to me is how these people come from these different parts of the world or these different ethnic backgrounds, and they go to HBCUs and get welcomed with open arms, face no type of discrimination, and they don't represent black people when they go out and make it in life. They join up with the rest of their people in the dark corners, and they keep this same type of attitude. Don't mess with them. Don't mix and mingle with them. It's just crazy that we accept every and anything. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like that's what we need to start doing as a people. Like we need to start voicing our opinions about the way that we're being portrayed. Not just in movies, but in music also, and not just by other people, but by our own people. Like I feel like it shouldn't be okay for somebody to make a song about spinning the block all day. I feel like we done had enough of that, bro. I feel like we as a people should be done heard enough of that NBA young boy spinning the block type music. Look where it got all of them at. Look where Lil Durk and all of them at. So I feel like we as a people should voice our opinion about the way we being portrayed in music as well as movies, uh, as well as in sports. I feel like this is a good thing right here, but it needs to go farther, bro. It need to go way farther because people stereotype black people, and because of that, it's the reason why people love to see black people struggle. Like it's entertainment when black people struggle. Like for instance, when Diddy got in trouble, his trial was tonight's dinner in the movie. Young Thug, his trial was dinner in the movie. But when Epstein or Trump or any one of them get in any trouble, it's not even interesting. Don't nobody want to see that. Don't nobody want to watch that movie. But when a black person get in trouble, it's gonna be on every social media platform, every news outlet, every way that you can see it. It's like when black folks struggle or get in trouble or do anything wrong, they take a picture of them with a camera phone, then they put it under a microscope, then they take a picture of that, then they put it up in the air on a telescope. Like they want you to see black people in the spotlight struggling as entertainment, and then and so we embrace this for some reason. And you see a lot of these up and coming wannabe filmmakers with the Tubi movies, and only thing they want to do, like I don't know if you're ever familiar with McGraw Ave, that's from my neighborhood, Southwest Detroit, but they basically miniature series of menace to society, and it's just like we as a people got to do this what we doing right here, but it got to go farther, bro, and it's gonna take all of us to do it, bro. We got to change the narrative. We got to change the way that we are seen and start caring, bro. Even in the lyrics, like Kanye tried to point out, a lot of people say Kanye is off his rocker, but Kanye made a good point when he said that there's no such thing as Semitic comments when it comes down to black people. But when you listen to these songs, them anti-Semitic comments, bro, why we don't have that? Why can you talk about basically hunting a black man down, and a whole song about doing wrong to a black man and his girlfriend and everything else, his kids, and it's not anti-Semitic? I land my plane.
Can I enter something into this conversation? Right. So what I also see from black filmmakers is that they have perfectly good, sound, strong FBA writers, right? FBA filmmakers have good, strong FBA writers willing to work with them, but they go and help people like Caribbean. I mean, they're in the South helping the Caribbean women get their films and stuff on the screen. So, if we're going to talk about you, and I think something should be a Zoom call, right? That's if people have power, connections or whatever. I think we have to stop dropping the ball on our own people and moving it past just talk. And I'm gonna land there because I don't think everything is for company ears and eyes. But that we don't come through for our own people, even though we have the resources. I yield.
I want to add on to the fact that there's a lot of stories that can be told. There's a lot of stories that need to be told. Like Unwritten said that we don't have a plethora of coming of age stories, especially not of coming of age stories in HBCUs. I can't even, to be honest, think of anything off the top of my head. I mean, we might have a couple of coming of age stories where the kids are just entering high school or they're leaving high school or something like that. I can't think of no like HBCU centered coming of age story like that. Off the top of my head, there might be a couple of them, but off the top of my head, I can't think of that, which means that we don't have a plethora of that. We don't have a plethora of fresh black stories like that. Okay. When we talk about black stories, we got to go all the way back to the 90s, all the way back to the early 2000s and stuff like that. You know, we got to go all the way back there. We got to go back up 20, 30 years, damn near. Okay. Now, my thing is that if we have the opportunity to make those stories, we can make those stories now. Why are we regulated, rather, why we're regulated to making stories about dealing and stuff like that and trauma and all of this. Those are the only type of black stories that get the green light. You know, those are the only type of black stories that people sign off on. Is some young kid dealing something or some trauma thing of some woman being abused by a black man and she never loved herself and the family's abandoned her. Like it's always those are the only black stories that we see getting greenlit. Somebody cheating on somebody else and now there's a love triangle scandal and those are the only stories. Now those are not the only stories that get greenlit when it comes to any other community. But when it comes
Facts.
to the black community, those are the only stories that we can see get greenlit.
Hey, I completely agree with you 100%. I was on a panel with Miss BX earlier, and she brought up something that we
Somebody says
had.
forever, forever. Hold on, forever. What is forever? Somebody a couple people in the chat. Is that a show? Is that a movie? But keep going. I just want to know that. Keep going.
No, yeah, it's a show on Netflix. It's a black show on Netflix. But Miss BX, so earlier we was on the same panel. I don't know if she remembered me, but she was talking about the 50. I think it's over like 50,000 patents we have from black Americans. We don't have any movies about none of those people. You know what I'm saying? Like we could make so many movies about Black American culture that is crazy. And I just want to add this one more thing. One movie that I can bring up that we do have. It's an old movie though, but Freedom Writers.
Okay. Yeah. And the thing is that I'm not even trying to disparage any type of actor or any type of movie, but the thing, or like for instance, when we talk about rap, our brother Detroit, he brought up the fact that the only type of rap we have is like the super trap gangster rap, and a lot of people like, well, they like that because it does kind of speak on an aspect, because we can't ignore the fact that that is an aspect of certain people's life, and if they want to tell their stories, they tell their stories. But one of the things I say when it comes to like the gangster rap thing back in the day that we don't have today is that there is no balance. Back in the day, all rap wasn't about that. All music wasn't about that. There used to be a balance between music that was a little bit raunchy and then kind of music that was positive, music that told stories, music that was family friendly. There was a balance back in the day. Just like movies, there should be a balance with movies. All movies shouldn't be PG-13 or PG. All movies shouldn't be like that. We should have some rated R movies. We should have some movies that go a little raw. You know what I'm saying? That is a little raunchy. Because there needs to be a balance. Everything can't be PG. Let's be honest with it, right? But the thing is, if all we have is the rated R movies, then that's not good either. Okay? If there's a balance between the family friendly stuff and then maybe the kids are asleep, now we get to watch this movie stuff, that's fine. We're not asking that nothing should be violent, nothing should be no, because there's a balance. There's a balance to it. All right? There's a balance to entertainment because this stuff reflects the life that people live. And the thing is that the representation and the reflection of the life that people live is not showcased in media unless it's a certain way, unless it's negative. That's my thing. People talk about, well, yeah, I want to tell this story about a single mother who's down on her luck. Okay, all right, but why are we not talking about a story about a thriving black business owned by a black family and all of that stuff, as well as we're telling the story about the single black mother who's struggling to make ends meet because the baby daddy in jail or something like that? Why is there no balance to the media?
Hey, Afro, I live in a neighborhood where everybody house is $400,000 and up, and it's all black. Ain't no paper on the ground. Ain't no pit bulls running around outside loose. It's all black people in my neighborhood, in the neighborhood next door, in the neighborhood in the next door, all one way in, one way out community. Matter of fact, my whole side of town in Metro Atlanta right here is black. You can't find a piece of paper on the ground.
Mm.
And I don't see the people who live like me that I see every day being represented in no type of movie or
Mm-hmm.
nothing, bro. I don't hear it in the music or nothing. I wake up every day, open up my own business. I can afford to be up 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning on TikTok. And everybody that I know and associate myself with, they are entrepreneurs like myself, own businesses, uh, good people, but we aren't being represented. Like we don't even exist in the United States to people that don't know no better.
Mm-hmm.
That's a problem.
Thank you. Because the thing is that movies should be diverse. I want us to like really home in for something. Let me just say this real quick, and then I'm gonna let some of the other speakers go ahead. I like movies. I'm not like I wouldn't I kind of would say I'm almost a movie buff, but I'm not like really like because I don't like really go into like the lighting and some people are like really deep with it. I don't really go into like the lighting and the camera angles and all of that stuff that a lot of like super movie buffs do, like making movie reviews and stuff. That's their thing. I like to watch I'm a movie lover, I would say, but I'm not like super into that to that degree. No disrespect, I watch their content, but I'm not like all the way into that, right? But some people are, some people really are, and shout out to them, you know. But my thing is that watching movies, I see when it comes to the dominant society, I see they got movies about business. You got the Wolf of Wall Street, and you got cinematic kind of adaptations of real things that happen. You got movies about crime. You got movies about this crazy bank heist and this crazy robbery. You got action movies. They got romance movies. They got thrillers. They got horror movies. They got all different every single category, every single genre, everything you can think of. They got movies all the way from business. They got movies for super old people. They got movies that depict events that happened in real life. They got movies for anything and everything. To comedy movies that are rated PG-13, to comedy movies that are rated R. Okay? Action movies that are rated PG-13, all the way to action movies that are rated R. You know, but with black people, nah, you got to be dealing, or you got to be, it's got to be either you're dealing something or you own a plantation. That's all we can do for you. You're either dealing something or you own a plantation. Those are the only type of movies that black people get to have. Okay, or you got a Tyler Perry movie. We might be able to co-sign if Tyler Perry do something, but you got those three categories or something and that's it. And I feel like this is why the movie Sinners was so refreshing for people because it's something. Sinners was like a breath of fresh air to a lot of people. We was like, oh, finally, we can finally get something that's not in those three categories. You know what I'm saying? Even though it did depict the South, and there was still like shows of racism and stuff like that. It's not a exploitation. It wasn't like no like slavery porn thing. It wasn't like that, you know. So it was a real good breath of fresh air, which is why the movie did so well, you know. So we need the diversity, and there's other movies. Shout out to the other movies that do diverse things, but we need some diversity there. Good quality diversity in our entertainment and in our movies. And that's not too much to ask for because everybody else has that.
What up, Afro? Can I say something? Because I'm at work. I just
Yeah,
really
go
want to
ahead.
say
Go
this.
ahead.
Thank you. What's up, NBA family? Look, you're not lying. Everything you said is true. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm a '90s kid, and it was definitely balanced back in the '90s, right? But I also want to say this: it's disrespectful to have them uh, get foreign black people to play our great artists. They have John Boyega, who is not a Black American descent, playing Otis Redding in a movie. Otis Redding, a great artist of ours, right? He just because they they don't even give these Black American artists a chance. I mean, actors a chance now. They're going overseas because they can take cheaper pay. Even Idris Elba even admitted to it. You know, he like, hey, look, I come to America because we're not getting paid over there. You know, so I come to America. Yeah, even though Idris Elba, he might identify as black culture, but he's still not of Black American descent, right? So what they'll do is they'll go get somebody like Idris Elba or the guy that played Franklin Saint off of Snowfall. I was disappointed in John Singleton for doing that, but they'll go get these people and tell them to put on this accent, right, and act like us, and then they'll pay them for that. But instead of reaching out to Black American actors and saying, "Hey, look, you know, we got this role, we wouldn't mind having you in it." And so that really pissed me off when I seen that they had that dude John Boyega playing Otis Redding, and they got that little witch from the Wizard of Oz, got her playing Shaka Khan. I'm disgusted. You know what I'm saying? I ain't even gonna lie, it's pissing me off.
Forget the lady that played Nina Simone. I can't remember. Zoe's up.
Yeah, bro, her too.
Yeah,
Her
that was the
too.
ultimate disrespect. I can't believe.
Mhm.
I'm sick about that one. But yeah, Afro man. Feel
Mhm.
free to. I know you got to rotate the panel sometimes. So
Oh, okay. I got you. I got you.
Yeah, I'm
And
dropping down
and
too,
that's something
Afro. I'm
that
gone,
I'm glad that
Afro.
we're. Huh?
I said I'm dropping down too, brother.
Oh,
Appreciate you.
okay. Appreciate that, brother. That's something that we got to speak on as well too. We got to make sure we speak on that. And we were speaking on that like a few months ago when there was a rumor that Cynthia Erivo might be cast to play Shaka Khan. We were speaking on that, and we made sure that that didn't happen. The community made sure that we voiced our disapproval. We collectively gave a big thumbs down to that idea. So they kind of read it and they was like, oh no, because what they do a lot of times is they kind of like rumor something just to get the temperature of the room, just to kind of feel out how people feel about it. And then if people don't mind or if people cool with it, then they green light it. But if people disapprove, they'll be all like, oh well, it was only a rumor in the first place. Okay. So we got to keep on doing that because John Boyega is one thing if he's playing a stormtrooper in Star Wars. Okay, that's one thing. All right. But when you actually play us, a real person, these are real stories that are being told. These are real people who live real lives. This is a real aspect of our culture, and everything is not universal. So you're coming in here and you really have to like quite literally act like you're somebody from a lineage that you're not. This is not made up. Star Wars is made up. Stormtroopers are made up. All of this, the Jedi, the Force, all that stuff is made up. Okay, cool. You can play in some made up story. But when you're playing something and when you're trying to tell a story about something that really happened, that's important to people. These are people's lives that they really had to live. These are people's stories and people's struggles that they really had to live. All right. And when people want to see that represented in the media, they want to see that represented properly. And truth be told, they don't do it properly. They just don't do justice to it. All right. This is why the movie Harriet, nobody talks about that movie Harriet. They expected that movie Harriet with Cynthia Erivo. They expected that to be like the next Malcolm X movie, the one that Spike Lee did with Denzel Washington. They expected it to be like that. Nobody talks about that movie. The movie Selma, where they had I forget his name, some I don't know if he's Nigerian or not, but some non-FBA playing Dr. King. Nobody talks about that movie. I'm not hating. We all know it. I'm not making it up. We all know it.
No, that's
Name your favorite scene from that movie. Nobody can. Now people can. I can say name your top 3 favorite scenes from Malcolm X with Denzel Washington and Spike Lee, and we can have a whole panel full of people naming their top 3 favorite scenes. Name one scene that you liked from the movie Selma. People don't know. Name one scene from the movie Harriet that you liked. People don't know. People don't know. These movies are not hitting. These movies are flopping instantly because you guys are taking people's stories and you're having people who are not from the lineage represent those people, and they miss every time. It's one thing if they're background characters or something else. Now people can talk about, hey, what's your favorite scene from the Ali movie that when Will Smith played Muhammad Ali? That was a good movie. People love that movie. What's your favorite scene from the movie? What was it? Where Jamie Foxx played Ray Charles? Okay, people can talk about that all the time. You see, you see how those movies are classic. You see how those movies hit, and those are older movies, and we can't even remember the most recent movies like Harriet. But
Can I
Omega,
say something?
you got it. You got it.
Yeah, I just wanted to basically build on what you were just saying. It's because it's a lack of a cultural connection, like between different groups of melanated people. And then when you get into these other people, like how Keke Palmer is portraying this production that she has going on, I think like when it goes to that level of non-black, like Asians and so on, it
Mm-hmm.
becomes like flat out disrespectful. And people can't really connect with it because there is no cultural connection. We can vibe with Jamie Foxx playing Ray Charles because the nuances are there. You know what I'm saying? You
Mm-hmm.
can vibe with Malcolm X being played by Denzel because again, the nuances are there. But these people don't have that nuance. And when they look at our culture, they always look at it as something to look down upon, which is why a lot of the actions that they portray come off as disrespectful or disingenuous, and it doesn't hit. And that's all I got to say about that, man.
Mm-hmm.
Ain't that same Asian was married to Young Jeezy?
I don't think so.
Kind of look like her a little bit.
No, that's not her, yeah.
That's not her?
No, this lady here is a little bit older than they do
Oh,
favor each other, but she's a little bit older than the lady in the prompt. Can I say something?
Yeah, go ahead.
Um, I work in the movie industry. I've worked for 35 years in the industry, and I'm a filmmaker that's in the trenches. And when I say in the trenches, I'm sitting next to the director, the camera, interacting with the actors and the producers. And I have been on some of these iconic movies that you have talked about. I've actually have created because I kind of sort of want to give my name, but I just want to give you my background. And I have worked on Star Trek, the Star Trek that Tyler Perry played a character, and I talked to him, and he said, and I didn't at the time, I didn't know who he was, and I talked to him, and he was saying this was his first role that someone else has written the words and stuff like that. And so what I've seen through my years, and I'm a black woman, top of my game, and what I've seen through the years is that a lot of times that they're just trying to they're using names, they're attaching people's names that have a little bit of credit or something like that to get their movie made, to get the monies, to get the funds. And when you were talking about John, which I was actually I worked on that set, that he was a stormtrooper.
Okay.
I worked on, there was a pilot that came out. I can't think of the name right now, but they had a black British person, a black Canadian person, and a black German. And these actors, good actors, they're all good actors, was playing a black, they were all playing black Americans. And this was probably, I would say, maybe 10, 10, 12 years ago, and it was a pilot, and it only like did one season. Well, it was only did one season. And back then I could see, oh, there, it's not that, and it's not that they're in quotations, it's they don't see it, the people who fund it, the people who got the money, who people who are casting, they don't see it as, they just see the skin. And these people, I have to give them the credit, they can act. They are killing it in the acting game. And they can put on them accents. And it's really, I think for the actor, it's about just getting the job and doing a job. As far as the people with the money, is sometimes the name. Oh, sorry, my air fryer. Um, and sometimes it's just they're using a person's name so that they can get their things funded. And what, so my last thing I'm going to say is that like Tyler Perry, Oprah, they chose not to do those things. Like Tyler Perry's formula works for him and makes him millions. That's why he don't change. And I know people that are kind of that work around that system. He could branch out. He could be telling different stories, but he chooses not to.
Okay.
Because he has the power. Like he's got a whole studio. He's got the monies, he's got the funds, he's got the power. He could make that change. Oprah too. But they chose not to. So the question would be like, why? So the last thing that I want to say, the industry has changed. It kind of like changed of how to get stuff done, produced. It just changed because of COVID, because of the writer and the actor strike. You know, I would be considered crew, and a lot of people had to change, get out of the industry. So it's kind of like a refresher. Like it's kind of like new, you know, and the way that and the studios have clamped down on the monies, and what I haven't seen is a resurgence in the independent. I think it's going to be that independent filmmaker. It's that, like, I don't know if y'all remember Blair Witch back in the day. Blair Witch got really big because it was at a Sundance Film Festival. And they saw it, it became a thing. And then all of a sudden there was a surgent in independent filmmakers. You know, that's what hasn't kind of sort of happened. And so that the end of the black independent filmmakers, you just got to get out there and tell your story. And all the bets are off. The industry has changed. How you get stuff funded, how you get it out there. It's like a new game, and it hasn't been established yet. So like, this is the time, any filmmakers are out there, this is the time to get your stories together, to try to get the crews and get your product out there. And you got social media, you got YouTube. YouTube made more money than any of the studios. So if YouTube is making more of the money, then it makes sense to go and like try to see how you can get your stuff on YouTube. That kind of stuff. I'm sorry, I'm become a little passionate. 35 years. I've been in the industry a long time, and I've been that filmmaker that sat with the directors and the actors and everybody, and I've seen it. But the blacks need to stand up. Y'all want black content with a different story? Then you got to go out there and make it, because the people that got the monies and maybe got the connections, and I'm saying this in quotes, they're not doing it. They could have done it a long time ago.
Okay. Well, okay. All right. And I agree with the fact that we do need a rise and we do need to support independent filmmakers. And we have more access to it. I feel like well, I'm not a filmmaker as of yet. I'm not ruling it out. But if you were to be a filmmaker, we need to get high quality cameras, lighting, all of these things. They're accessible. They can be bought online. You can do casting online nowadays. So you have access to certain things as an independent filmmaker that you probably didn't have 20 something years ago. You can do crowdfunding for film. So there's opportunity definitely in today's age for independent filmmaking, and we should support that if the film is good. if the film properly represents us, if the acting is good, if the script is good, then we should support that. And I do want to see a rise in that. I will also say now, and this isn't to say that folks from outside America, can't act. I'm not trying to say black folks who are from the UK or anything like that can't act. Idris Elba, he can act very well. He's a good actor. Okay,
They
I'm
killing
gonna
it.
say I don't have an issue with his acting. I don't have an issue with John Boyega. I don't have an issue with their acting. I think they're good actors. Damson Idris, he's a good actor. Yeah, they're good actors. They're good actors, but the thing is that some things is not universal because it's not you're not acting out something fictional. I feel like if it was fictional on certain things, hold on, there's a background noise. If everything was fictional, it'd be even-handed. Okay, but the thing is that our story in our life and our culture is not fictional, and this is something that the producers and directors are not recognizing and losing money because if they just think that okay, all we need is a dark skinned person to play this role, this dark skinned person is not going to land like you need them to in order to make a profit. They're not going to land like you need them to. Like you might think if I'm telling a story about some Japanese kingdom, I can get a Korean person because all I need is an Asian. Okay, well, if you get a Korean person to play a Japanese character, the Korean person is going to miss that mark because he or she is not Japanese. So there's cultural marks, there's cultural relevance that a Korean person is not going to be able to tap into of a Japanese story. And that the same thing goes with Black America. There's cultural relevance in marks that, for instance, a UK person is not going to be able to really tap into, and that doesn't make them a bad actor. And I'm not saying this to speak on you. I'm
No, no,
saying
no.
this as a message to the directors and producers because they keep making movies that's flopping.
Can
And
I
they're
say
not
something?
understanding the flaw that they're making. They're making a flaw because when you start making movies outside of fiction, when you start making movies about things that happen in real life, conditions in real life, or real cultural things, then you need somebody who is of the culture. You need something that is of the culture, or someone who is of the culture. If you get somebody who looks like they're of the culture, that's not going to be enough.
Can I say something? I think that it's what has happened for our community, period, because we have allowed it to happen. And again, I'm going all the way back to when it starts and someone has a script and they're trying to get their story, the funding and stuff. I'm telling you, they're looking at a person's name, a person's clout, as you guys say, or influence, or all that kind of stuff. That's what they're looking at. And sometimes the people can't act. Now, ideally, yes, you are correct. They should be trying to get someone who like can really resonate with the role, with the person, the culture, and everything else like that. But they ain't looking at it like that. So, like someone mentioned something that John Singleton, may he rest in peace, and I worked with him on 3 films. He picked people because he liked them, and you say like, oh, that I can't remember who spoke up earlier said that he chose this other person. They using the names and the clout so they can get the monies to get it made, and they just figure that on set that they gonna be able to get the nuances out or what have you. Now the your point is correct that the people just like Ava, picked Daniel and who is British black, that to do a part, and they said it didn't resonate well. Well, we as the audience aren't maybe not resonating with it, but I don't want to say they don't care. We're not as an audience making a loud enough noise. Like you said, they were going to pick the girl from Wicked to try to do Shaka Khan or whatever it was, and there was an cry, that means that that person, yes, they were saying, let's test the waters. And again, I keep saying that the game has changed. I think that as a consumer of and the people who want stuff, we have to start to speak up. You got to speak up. You got to say, hey, and how you do it? How does it come? How do you get it to come across? How it can be a thing? I don't know, but you have to. But I don't want to say they don't care. I don't know that it's just about they trying to get the money, and if they can get someone with the name and they just look black or whatever, they just trying to raise the money.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, I do because I get it's a business. I do
Yeah,
get it's a business, and they need somebody who's going to put butts in seats. So they need somebody who is known. I understand that. As a businessman, I get it. I understand that. I understand that. I would add that when you have opportunities to make new stars, if we're going to have an opportunity to make a new star, let's make new black American stars. Like, for instance, and I'm just going to say this because I agree with your point. I'm going to say this about this Asian lady. We don't know who she is. Has she been in any major movie before? I mean, maybe she's had some acting experience before, but we don't know. She's not no like household name. She's not done no like award winning, Oscar winning movie before. Not even as a side character, but she's being featured as the main character of a either a TV show or series or movie or something. She's the main character of this project. Now, this could have been a black girl. This could have been a young black woman who was the main character, and then that gave her the opportunity to become the next big star. Like I feel as if Hollywood is gatekeeping and they're preventing the opportunity for young black American, young foundation. You got to mute your mic because there's a background noise. Young foundational black American actors and actresses to become the next big thing. Like, and this is one thing that as a community we need to speak out on, because I see talent all the time. I see skits being made, comedy skits, drama skits being made on YouTube, being made on TikTok, being made on Instagram. There are black folk who can really act, who can really put a good script together, and who can for real act. Like, and they got good cameras and good lighting and stuff. There are black people who can really act, but they're not giving the shot. They're not giving the opportunity. You know what I'm saying? Like, are we cultivating, or is Hollywood, because Hollywood seems like it's gatekeeping. They don't want to have the next Denzel. They don't want to have, or at least not the next black American Denzel. They don't want to have the next black American Angela Bassett. They don't want to have the next black American, you know what I'm saying, Will Smith. They don't, you know what I'm saying? And they don't want to have the next black American Viola Davis. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're gatekeeping the next black person who's of a high caliber to be non-FBA. And that's their problem.
Oh wait, let me talk. Let me talk. Can
Hold
I
on, hold on.
talk?
You want next though, brother. I'm gonna get to Trey and then you can go ahead.
Yo, peace and blessings to the panel. Peace and blessings to you, Alfred, for all of your dedicated support to the FBA lineage. Appreciate it, brother. So, you hitting the nail right on the head, man. That's exactly what it is. It's gatekeeping, and it's literally, if you ask me, it's like a secret society of liberal FBA, anti-FBA hatred. You know what I'm saying? Like, they don't want to push or invest into the cultivation of FBA talent. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a lot of talented FBA people out here, but they just need, investment, or they need the pushing, or they need somebody that's going to really, capture them at a young age and just, cultivate them up into stars, right? And we've done that. We've seen that, but they stopped doing that because they really hate our lineage. If you just want to be honest, like, what they want to do is exploit us, and the best way to do that is, to go to other countries and find black looking people, or people who are black that's not from our lineage. You know what I'm saying? Think about, I mean, even with voting and stuff, we got um, Kamala Harris and we got Obama. These people don't come from our lineage. Why are we pushing these people? You see what I'm saying?
Mm.
So there is a, if you ask me, there's a liberal secret society, and it's literally they hate FBA. If you ask me, you know what I'm saying? And yeah, so we what we need to do as a community, you know what I'm saying? We need to start investing in each other. You know, we need to start finding our own talent and start investing in each other. And we need to, you know, kind of like what the Jew, quote unquote, ish people do is, you know, just have thorough background checks and just make sure that we messing with just our own. You see what I'm saying? Because
Hey,
the thing
look,
is,
look,
hold
look,
on, bro. Let me
look.
finish, bro. Let me
Dude,
finish.
let him go ahead.
Yeah, man, don't be disrespectful, bro. But like for instance, like with somebody was talking about what's his name? Idris what's his
Elba.
name? Yeah, Idris Elba, right? So come to find out, you know, all this support we was giving him, and then when we were going through the Black Lives Matter movement, this guy was like, "I'm not black, you know, I don't like this whole black thing, you know, like can't we all just get along type stuff, you know what I'm saying? Going against the grassroots, going against the movement. So that's the thing. We build these people up that don't come from our lineage. They don't understand our lineage. They don't understand our struggle, but they want to, you know, become stars and basically exploit our community. You know what I'm saying? So that's why we got to stop just letting everybody in. You know, even if they black, it don't matter if they black or not. You know what I'm saying? It's about our struggle because that's what's setting us back. You know what I'm saying? We get these people, we build them up, and then they turn their backs on us, and then they basically undermine us. You know, so that's what we gotta really pay attention to this. So I'm glad you guys are bringing this up and talking about this because even when I went to I just went to Kiki's page and she made a she put a she dropped a video talking about, you know, basically trying to address the backlash. And she said people of color about 30 times. And I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? People of color? Ain't nobody on that people of color bullshit no more. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, that's just what it is, man. It's like we gotta support everybody else, you know what I'm saying? Even though we got people coming at us from all angles. You know what I'm saying? I think that's out. But that's all I wanted to say.
And I think it's, can I also add something, Afro?
Yeah.
I think the power of influence is shifting too, whereas we've been used to, and this, I think this is kind of like just an overall society thing, but we've been used to influence coming from top down, and now we're seeing influence come from bottom up, regarding, celebrities and just, I think I don't know what the last word is, but spoke about how there's like this decentralization where, a lot of people aren't watching news networks like they are watching independent outlets. So I think it is somewhat maybe of a shock to some celebrities when they are pushing out content and they are not tapped into the greater collective of that community, of our community. And the backlash is the way that we're able to communicate, like, hey, this is not the route to go. So yeah, I think it's somewhat of a shift of, we're just not going to take whatever a celebrity puts out there and simply because they're a household favorite, we're going to support it regardless. Like we probably done in the past. It's like we're no longer doing that. We're taking agency over our culture and how it's being represented. And either people are going to accept that or they're going to get left behind and not be supported. It's really like you don't really have an option, because the consumer is always right at the end of the day. Like your business will fail if people are not willing to patronize it. And especially, and you hit it on nail with, there's a difference between cultural content and just regular, even if this is not necessarily nonfiction, but just content that's not necessarily attached to any one culture. And what we've seen is that when it comes to our, anything regarding Black, they want to attach it to our culture, but don't want to handle it with the proper care. And it's like you can create, Black movies about space and, horror movies and all these different things. And it's like we support that too, but be very cognizant of how you attach things to our culture, because we're just no longer tolerating anything to be associated with it.
Yeah, that's very true. Because once you tap into the cultural thing, when you if you make like a timepiece, or if you make a movie based off of certain individuals, whether that's Dr. King, whether that's Rosa Parks, whoever you make the movie off of. It almost completely shifts everything. Now everything needs to be taken much more seriously, you know. Now if you said if this was a movie about space, okay, all right, anybody could do that. If this was like a movie about a zombie apocalypse, okay, it doesn't matter, anybody can do that. But now you talking about the civil rights movement, okay, well now we got to take things a lot more seriously. You know, if you're making a movie about the civil rights movement or reconstruction or anything else, okay, now that's a whole different ball game. It's a whole different ball game. So you're exactly correct. Thank you for that. Let me get to my brother Cole Chief. What's going on, bro?
Hey, what's happening, brother? How's it going?
Good, good. How you doing?
I'm cool. I was just sitting here listening, man. Hey, little shorty that was finna come in, man. He was saying like he was a little excited, man. I was really wondering. I don't think he was even
Yeah,
gonna be on
I didn't
stage.
kick him out. I wanted to hear what he had to say. He just left.
I did too. He was too pumped. But look, I wanted to speak on what the young lady that was in the industry was saying
Hmm.
because my family. I've been around the industry all my life too. I got award winning directors, producers, actors, and broadcasters in my immediate family, And she was saying that it's like sounded kind of like it was a mistake that they putting these people inside of these movies. But the fact is it's not a mistake. They are doing this deliberately. This is systematic. I promise you. And I have a cousin. Well, I have somebody. Yeah, I got a cousin. I ain't gonna lie. I got a cousin. He first time he said he did some directing for NBC. He said it was a janitor that told him, "Man, look how they treating the Black Americans." And my cousin said he stood up for him. He said after he stood up for him, they didn't let him work for another 8 years. It's NBC. You know what I'm saying? And as far as you absolutely right about we can do this ourselves. I'm gonna give you some game that was given to me because I was asking him like, man, how do I get some of that equipment? And you know what I'm saying? Do the things you doing. And he was telling me like, man, you ain't got to get all your money up to get that stuff. He was like, man, you get your plan in order and then you just rent the equipment. So I'm just saying this for everybody. You just rent the equipment. And the last of the game that I'm finna drop right quick is this. If you was trying to get something, even though I think we should do it independently, you see, I'll be buying equipment Afro, you know that. Hey,
Yeah.
but if you want to try to get something shot, what you do is you make yourself like 8 episodes already. You know what I'm saying? 10 episodes before you even go shop it to somebody, because then they can see that they ain't got to put all that money into put it out because you got the product done yourself. But hey, I love what you're doing, Afro, and if I can just put in some insight, I will. I'm gonna let my plane for the moment.
Thank you. There's a lot of opportunities. I'm glad you brought that up. There's a lot of opportunities for hold on, there's a little feedback though. There's a lot of opportunities for up and coming. If you really do want to, if you're serious about it and you want to make film, or if you want to make a mini series, there's ways you can start that off. What There was one movie that was shot, I think, on cell phone, and it really blew up, and the budget was really low. They was in the wood. What's that movie? I keep forgetting the name of that movie. That movie, it was like shot in the woods or something like that. It was some white folk who did it. What was the
Yeah,
name?
that's
Oh,
that Blair
Blair
Witch.
Witch.
That's the one she was
Blair
talking about.
Witch.
Blair. You said it was what? Blair Witch.
Blair.
Blair Witch.
Blair Witch. Okay, that movie didn't. The budget, if you actually look at the budget was kind of low. That movie didn't take that much money to film. It didn't take
45,000.
that much equipment, and it didn't take that long either. The Blair Witch Project, it didn't take that long either.
Yeah,
And that
project.
movie
Yeah.
blew up independently. It didn't have no major studio behind it or anything like that. There's a level of creativity that is needed. Yeah, you are gonna have to be a little bit more creative because you're not gonna have the $1 million to put into CGI like Disney has and stuff like that. You're not gonna be able to fly people out to drop out of airplane like this is some type of Mission Impossible. You're not gonna be able to do that. You're not gonna be able to blow up a car like this is a Transformer movie. You're not gonna be able to do that. So you're gonna have to be a little bit more creative to make it look good. But we can do that. It can be done. I literally see it being done with mini skits all the time. I'm all like, if they just like put all those skits together, I see it on YouTube, I see it on Tubi, I see it on Instagram. I'm like, if y'all was to put those skits together, Y'all could really do something. Just like Cole Chief said, you can just rent the equipment. You don't even have to buy it. You can just rent it. That's what a lot of these rappers and stuff like that, they don't have Lamborghinis. They just rent it for a music video. If you needed a Lamborghini or something, you can just rent that for a day or two. Just don't blow it up.
Oh, another movie, Paranormal Activity. I don't know if y'all seen that one. The budget was 15,000 and they made 194 million.
Oh wow.
And that was the start of Blumhouse. I'm a horror buff. So yeah, it could be done.
Yeah. We might have to have a conversation about that for people who are interested into film, and I'm interested into film. I like to watch movies. I really do like to watch movies. Different types of movies and stuff like that. And just thinking about how it's made and stuff like that. I know it can be very intimidating because you got studios that have like multi-million-dollar budgets and stuff, and that's what the audience wants to see. So you might think, what am I supposed to do? You know, I don't got no big movie star or whatever, but you really don't need to. All you need is good script. Make it a solid script, okay? Make it thorough. Don't be corny. See, that's one of the things. Like if you have a bad shot, film it again. Film it again. Film it until the shot is good. I see people making mistakes. I'm all like, okay, did you not know he was wearing a blue shirt before you had to reshoot the scene? Now the shirt is red. That's not what happens in an actual real life scenario. This man is walking down the hallway with jeans, and then when he opens the closet, he got jogging pants on. That don't look good. Come on now, it can't be doing. If this is a comedy, cool. But if you trying to make a real life drama, that is not how that does. Okay,
That
he
was my
eating the
job.
cheeseburger, then next he eating the chicken salad. Can't be. Come on now.
That was my job. It's called. I was a script supervisor. It's called continuity. Yeah. Well, this. I'm going to say this and leave because I'm 66 and I need to go to bed. Uh, for the future filmmakers out there, there are a lot of crew. There's a lot of experienced people out there that aren't working. This is really a good time to try to get a project off the ground, especially if you're in Atlanta and in Los Angeles, because that was the main where the crew. Crew is all over, but these were hubbub. These were the central places. There's a lot of experienced crew people out there who are willing, because we love filmmaking, so they're willing to work for no money, low pay, and all like that kind of stuff. But the one thing that is happening right now is these little short, we call them verticals. Um, some people, I think I saw they're trying to call them mini movies. They're kind of like soap operas. It's like the modern day soap opera where I don't know what the business model is, but and how you put it up on the like a Tubi and all that kind of stuff. But the people it's making a lot of money, and what's making it move fast? They're using experienced crew.
Mm.
The stories are whack because I'm a script supervisor, so I work with the script, and so other script supervisors are saying that the scripts are they seem AI to them, and now SAG is getting involved, and so they're trying to unionize it so the actors are going to get better, and or the newer actors are going to have an opportunity to go and do on these things. But this is where someone in of the Black community look into it because it's up for grabs right now. This is the new movement.
All
These
right.
we call them verticals. I forget what they're calling, but I know that a few of you guys have seen them. This is an opportunity to tell our stories, and it doesn't have to be ratchet. Let's take it up a notch. Dang. you
It
know
doesn't.
but that is what I want to say. Thank you for letting me on. This is the first time I've ever been on,
Well,
and
thank you again.
yeah, I know it's called Date My Makeup. This is my little side business and stuff like that. But yeah, no, and the guy that was Cole, yeah, he's right. There's
a lot of opportunity. All you have to do is rent stuff, but there, you can go there. There's, if you really are interested, and this is what I believe, is that if this is the path that you're supposed to be on, the doors of opportunity will open up and God will lead you down that path. With that, everybody take care. God bless you. And first time meeting you, Afro, keep it up. You've got a
Thank you.
very good panel, and you're saying some very wise things. And God bless everybody. Good night.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm gonna add this because I'm gonna let other people say something real quick, and thank you for that. The TV show The Punisher. I was seeing it, but we're kind of like comic book heads to a degree. Me and my brother, we were talking about the first and second season, and what they had in the second season is they would like have a studio because they kind of ran out of money through the second season, so they had a studio that they kind of had to keep reusing the same, like it was like a factory or something like that, like an open factory thing that they had to keep reusing. So when they would reuse that for a particular scene, like if it's a warehouse scene and if it's an action scene, they would have old, 2x4s and different pallets and stuff like that on the floor, and old computers and stuff all over the place, and that would be the scene. They would film the action scene or whatever the case at that place. And then at that same place, if they needed to do like a office scene, they would just move all of that stuff out, and then they would put like cubicles up and desks and stuff like that. So you can have, if you want to do it, you can just find whatever your budget needs to be. You can crowdfund, find whatever that budget needs to be. You can have one place be all like, okay, so if we're gonna shoot like a office scene, we just need to get some cubicle looking stuff, and then we can do that. You can use that same location to shoot a scene in somebody's house or somebody's bedroom, living room, or whatever. Just get some stuff to make it look like that. You can use that same scene to make a car garage. You can use that, or same location rather. You can use that same location for a car garage. You can use the same location for a lot of stuff. And that will help the budget as well too, because that's what a lot of these big companies do. That's what Marvel does, or that's what Marvel did. I know that particularly with the Punisher TV show, at least the second season of that. They use a lot of the same locations. They just edit it up and use different camera angles to make it seem like it's a different place.
Hey, can I say something and one more time?
Yeah, and then
And
we'll
I'm gonna
get
get
to
right up to it.
real quick.
Okay, look. Also, also you could rent, you could rent the cameras and stuff. You can also go to a college. I'm just giving some game. You can go to a college and get the students that know how to operate those cameras. You know what I'm saying? And the different equipment. They'll do it for free sometimes, but just throw them a little bit of money. And what you were saying about the studios, you could use your room, or if you're serious about it, you could rent a space, and then like each room, you think in your head what's the main scenes you would be using, and like just make one wall a certain scene, and then the next wall, because it's 4 walls inside each room, the next wall is something different, the next wall is something different, and every time you need to use those scenes, you just turn your back with the camera. I apologize for butting in, but I really want y'all to do great.
Yeah, that's a good game. That's a good game. One wall can be the kitchen, another wall can be the office, another wall can be the living room. See, and you got a whole house in one room. That's some good game. Let's get to real quick.
Hey y'all, how's everyone doing?
Good, how you doing?
Good, thank you. I think the backlash, I mean, I understand it, I get where it's coming from, but I think that is a great way to bring, situational awareness and stuff like that, and bring something new to the table. Because I mean, I imagine the show. I hope the show is brings awareness to certain things, maybe microaggressions, constructive criticism, whatever. I've never been to a HBCU. That was my dream when I was a kid, but I ended up going to a PWI. But I think if there was a movie about a black girl in a PWI, people would find it interesting. So Why are we throwing shade at a member or person of the Asian community? Excuse me, going to a HBCU. I think that could shed a lot of light. If we can't say that we want diversity, inclusivity and stuff like that, but then go around and say, nah, this ain't right. We gotta practice what we preach and be about what we talk about. So I think
When
that
you
Keke Palmer's doing the right thing.
Now, when you say we want diversity and inclusivity, what do you mean exactly by that? What do you mean exactly?
Well, when we go to, let's say we go into a business, right? We would like to see some of our people, working there or whatever. We want to be represented in certain spaces. Then let other groups of people be represented in our spaces. Especially people, especially the in real life situations where members of, or sorry, I keep saying members, people of different groups choose to join our spaces out of love and wanting to learn our culture and stuff like that. I think that we should be open to that, and.
The thing is that we don't have proper representation of our people in these groups. That's the thing. We're lacking proper representation of our own people in these groups. And we have our own people who are missing out on opportunities so other people can get represented in a spot that doesn't belong to them. These are cultural spots that don't belong to them. She can't, no matter how much she tries, she can't represent a black girl. She can't represent a young black woman, rather, going to a HBCU. And then when you look at some of the clips, there's different stereotypes and there's different things that are being funneled through for her. She's highlighting different stereotypes about a community. The whole collard greens and macaroni and no, we don't need that. You When it comes to representation, it needs to be done carefully. Let's be very clear. It needs to be done carefully.
I do
It
agree.
should
It
be done
definitely.
if we want at an era where we want Black American culture to be highlighted. We need that to be represented by Black Americans.
I agree to a certain extent. I do agree with your what you said about it needs to be careful. We need to be careful with that representation. I do agree. However, I don't believe in the tit for tat. Because you guys don't do something, I won't do something. I believe love conquers all, and so I do believe. Even if somebody doesn't get back, who cares? I don't go around saying I'm not going to do something good for someone else because they don't do it for me. That's typically not who I am. I want to be. I want to be. I want to be. But real quick, let me just say this: I want to be a lead by example, right? I don't want to be the person who says because other people don't do it, I'm gonna be the same way. That makes you no better than.
No,
And so
okay, but
No,
I
that's
hear what you're saying though, but it's not a tit for tat thing because we're not doing something to get back at somebody. We're not doing this in spite of somebody. We're not doing this because we're mad at somebody. There is a right and a wrong way to represent a group of people. This is not like, well, y'all didn't do it for us, so we're not going to give you guys the opportunity. No, there's a right and a wrong way for people to be represented. And if we're representing a story of HBCUs, there's a right and a wrong way to do that. And people don't like the fact that, through not just the fact that she's Asian, but through the trailers and through people actually watching the episode, we're seeing a lot of stereotypes of our community. And we're seeing the fact that a non-black woman, an Asian woman, is the focal point of that story, highlights, okay, the fact that there's a lot of stereotypes by a non-black woman being there. So this isn't a tit for tat, but this is constructive criticism. This is
no,
constructive
yeah,
criticism. Now let me ask you a question. Where's your family lineage from?
Africa,
Oh,
What country in
well,
Africa?
Nigeria.
there is.
Nigeria. Okay. Well, let me ask you a question though. So you were born in America or you were born in Nigeria?
I was born in America. My parents were born in America. My grandparents were born in America. My lineage comes from Africa. I am an African American person.
Okay, when did anybody from your family tree immigrate to America?
The 1820s.
The 1820s, they immigrated
Correct.
from Nigeria in the 1820s?
No, they came over to America. They were brought to America.
Oh, they
Are,
were slaves.
are you a descendant of American chattel slavery?
Yes, I am.
How are you
Both
Nigerian?
of your parents are a
Because I can look
descendant of
back and look at
American
my
chattel
Nigerian.
slavery.
DNA and look at my ancestry and
Ma'am,
see that I'm
Nigeria
I'm,
doesn't
American.
okay,
exist,
hold
Kiki.
on.
Mute up, Laverne.
Everybody can't talk at the same time. Everybody can't do that. So you're saying you said your family is from Nigeria, and
Correct.
now you're saying that both of your parents, both their ancestry goes back to American chattel slavery.
Correct.
Then they're not Nigerian.
How so?
What do you mean? How so, ma'am?
Because I was born in America. My family is not African.
If ma'am, your family does not have ties to Nigeria. If what you're saying now is true, because you're telling two opposite stories about your lineage.
Okay, well let's
Right, and
count it back.
Nigeria wasn't
So
a country in 1820. Also, do you have any Caribbean in your family, ma'am?
why do you guys see light skin and not
No, no,
think
no, no, no,
African
no, 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 no,
American?
no. No, ma'am,
What?
please
Nobody
stop.
said anything about light skin.
Nobody,
What
man.
makes
Don't
you
do
think I
that.
have
One
Don't
minute,
do that.
Caribbean?
Cece.
What makes
One
you think I
minute,
have
Cece. Yes.
Caribbean in?
And hello, my children. I have Caribbean. You look like they're family, ma'am.
Oh,
Oh, oh.
why are you being rude? I'm not being.
Okay, so here's the issue. It sounds like you took a DNA test, right? And so you placed yourself in Nigeria, but in 1820, Nigeria wasn't even a name, right? So here's the issue: DNA test does not determine ethnicity. It doesn't. So
Right,
what we
correct.
would like to know if you descend from U.S. chattel slavery, right?
Mm-hmm.
Meaning your ancestors could be found in the United States of America between 1863 through 1865 and on an 1870 census.
Yeah, that's exactly what I said. I said that my lineage comes through, the slave trade and being an
You didn't say
African
slave trade,
American.
ma'am. You said they came over, and we said they migrated
I
here.
said brought
What
over. I
year?
said first I said came over, and then I said what were brought
Right,
over. That's
Well,
what I
ma'am.
said.
right.
Okay. Well, you
Okay.
can understand. Don't act like people ain't getting it. The first thing you said was Nigeria,
Right. Just
and then
yeah.
I asked, okay, so you
Today's
were
today's modern day Nigeria. Correct.
okay. Why out of all 50, what is it, 53, 54 countries in Africa, why did you say Nigeria specifically?
Because 67% of my bloodline is Nigerian. That's why.
Ma'am, that's not how that works, ma'am.
It is.
No, it's not.
Why are you guys trying to
Okay, let me ask you,
Okay,
because we
hold on.
also
When
have
did you
another
take this
rule. We
test?
also have another rule. How old are you? Are you over
26?
18? Are you over
Yeah.
18? Okay.
Hmm.
Um,
She's
Ma'am, that's,
26.
when did you take the test? No, because those percentages changes. So if you are not aware, right, and depending on what company you tested with, every now and then they will give you an update, right? As their data set grows, your percentages changes. So, like when I took my test, my highest region was Benin. I went out, I studied Benin, found out about the Benin Wall, and next update, mm-mm, not so much Benin anymore. So those things are subject to change, ma'am. That's not an absolute. That's all I'm
Okay.
trying to
Well,
tell
to
you.
answer your question, I'm black.
Yeah.
Does that help? Or I'm
No, because
African
that's
American.
race.
I'm black. Does
Because
that
you're
ma'am,
help?
Black
no,
American.
nobody
Ma'am,
guessed.
ma'am.
I'm African
Nobody
American,
wondered that,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Tumi ama ishayango. Okay. Mimi ni.
Cállate la boca, because you
Oh
sound a little
yeah.
Latina. But listen, let me tell
Yeah.
you're getting all frustrated because you're proven wrong, ma'am. I don't really care if you say Shango
Actually,
name, say Ogu, say Yay Maya, say
yeah.
whatever you want to
Why are you
say.
so
Because
rude?
you're getting upset for no reason.
What upset are
We're
you?
asking clarifying questions. You're not going to be able to overtalk me, ma'am.
Stop, because she's a mod. She can mute you. Just don't even try that.
I'm trying for clarity to show you something so that way you can be confident, won't have to, not confident, you could be informed when you go to the next room because they're not going to be as nice as me. They're
Yeah, and
not. Because now you're playing in our face, right?
I
All right?
Ma'am, stop doing
Okay.
that. Stop.
So
I'm
Because
here's
we
trying
the
to
let
thing.
tell
I'm
you.
telling you the
Hold
percentages will
on.
change.
Just
How are
wait.
you offended by that? It's the truth.
How are you
I'm not
offended?
offended.
I also told you I
Let,
have taken the test.
Oh
yo-
my gosh.
So I'm
let
not telling you something I didn't try or know
excuse me,
already.
young woman.
Hmm.
What you said was incorrect. Okay, you cannot determine your ethnicity through DNA centuries ago. That's not how that
I
works,
never talked about ethnicity. I
ma'am.
said
When
my
we
race,
ask,
Oh my
which is
God.
black.
ma'am,
I
when we
said my race, and
ma'am,
and
I'm
you
not,
go
ma'am,
ahead,
don't
go ahead.
overtalk the host. That's rude, okay?
No, I'm
Because
not.
when
Go
I
ahead.
asked about your lineage, the first thing you said was Nigeria. And then I said, okay, so were you born here or did you immigrate from Nigeria? The first thing you said was Nigeria. Now you're saying that both of your parents are descendant of American chattel slavery, and you are just saying Nigeria based off a DNA test. And BX, who also has taken multiple DNA tests, is trying to inform you that that's not the way that works.
Okay, so respectfully, can you tell me how it works without bashing me, calling me names, and
Who's
mocking
calling
me
you a
as
ma'am? Who is this?
BX is? BX is mocking me.
How? I asked you, were you
Because and
Caribbean?
I understand that I could be wrong, right? And so I appreciate you trying to educate. I don't never have a problem with that. But I disagree how you're talking to me, mocking what I'm saying, and
And
I
I
don't.
don't appreciate you coming
She's
out
not
trying to
mocking you.
speak a
She was
different
repeating
language
what you
like I don't
said.
understand the Orisha's, man. Like what I'm telling you, I asked you clarifying questions. Please, nobody else talk. Stay on your mute button. I asked you clarifying questions so I could get a grasp on what you were trying to say. To have such a high percentage of Nigerian, I'm wondering if you're bi ethnic now. Do you have a Nigerian parent, ma'am?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Why is your
Do you
flag
Do
do
you?
still
when
south
you
of?
do okay? My
Okay,
question.
because
Wait,
now,
just so we're on the
and I
same
want to
page.
circle this back
I'm
to.
a yield
Hold
here,
on,
and you could
because
Wait,
continue
I want
talking
to
to
ask
the
her,
host.
or no,
I
I'll
do
ask him.
want,
Oh, go ahead.
ma'am,
Sorry, go ahead.
I do want to circle this back to what you were saying as far as the project with Keke Palmer, because I don't want people to forget, because other people have things they want to say, and I don't want to forget that what you came up to say was the thing about Keke Palmer. But I want you to understand, and I'm just going to say this, and we're going to leave this because I can tell we're going to keep going. The DNA, when you, I don't know if you took 21andMe or whatever DNA thing that you take, what they don't actually give you the exact pinpoint. What they do is they tell a probability. They use algorithms to tell the probability that a percentage of your DNA comes from a group of people whose marker is of a certain region. And they tell you this before you take the test, that it's not foolproof, that is not 100% foolproof, and that you can't trace your lineage back that way. There's several different migrations that happen throughout Africa, throughout the world, and they
Hmm.
give you a percentage based off of the markers that they have, which is why things
Yeah.
change, because the algorithms and the markers update. And I'm just saying this to let you know, because if you feel that your ancestry came from Nigeria specifically, if you take that test in the next 5 years, your percentage might change. Not your DNA, but your percentage, because that's the
Understood.
way it works.
And I thank you for sharing. Oh, go ahead. I just want to say I thank you for sharing that information. It's very useful.
Okay.
Now, can you point me in the right direction? How do you find something that is accurate or more accurate? Where would you point me in? Because I did use ancestry.com. So if that's unreliable, then point me in the right direction.
Okay.
Afro, may I?
Go ahead.
You have to step away from the DNA test and go to the paper genealogy. Black Americans are very well documented in this country. So if your Black American parent has lineage ties to U.S. chattel slavery era, you'll be able to find it, but you got to do the paperwork. No state. You know, states are going up for reparations, right? DNA testing is not required at this time. Also, in the 1980s, the Supreme Court ruled we have to prove who we descend from. You can't tell who you descend from a DNA test. Even through your living relatives, you already have to have a name to compare to other family trees. So it's best to do your paper genealogy, ma'am.
Yeah. There's different sites you can go to. You can search your parents' name, then you can find their parents. You can find different divorce records, marriage records, death certificates, all of these things, and you can go back, find their parents, their uncles and aunties, and all of these things, and you can trace through the documentation in America, in the American census. You can trace back to what state your family was in, what city they lived in, and all of these things. Because that's how we
Okay.
would get reparations anyway. But as far as going back centuries and using DNA, that's not accurate science to be able to do that.
Okay, understood. Thank you
Okay.
guys for sharing that. I appreciate
Okay.
that.
Now, thank you. Thank you. Glad we were able to get that cleared up. Now, you also had said something about Keke Palmer, this being a good opportunity. I just want to rephrase what you said, just give a reminder of what you said. You feel like Keke Palmer is giving this lady an opportunity, or you feel like it's not that bad, or I don't want to put words in your mouth. So can you repeat what you originally said about your take on this?
Sure. I think that obviously there are Asian people that attend HBCUs, and I think that that's great that they do. And I don't think a racist person would say I want to go to a school with all black people. I don't think they do that. I just don't see it. I can't fathom that. So what I'm saying is I think that they need representation. They need their flowers, right? And I think that the show I haven't. So when you said the show had already aired, I didn't know that, and I'm gonna go and watch it. So maybe I'm wrong. Maybe the show is terrible, and but that's why I was gonna ask you about what stereotypes are you referencing when you're talking about all of these things that's being said in the show. But how I would think, because I obviously thought that the show has not been aired yet, therefore I was kind of picturing what the show might be like, and that picture was of maybe it shows some type of microaggressions the Asian woman has, and then she corrects herself. She gets what's the thing, corrected or whatever, and she says, oh, okay, my bad, girl, and when it always goes well, and who knows how funny and cool the show could be. I think Keke Palmer I don't think Keke Palmer has ever been a tap dancer. She has been a strong, educated young black woman in the media, in this scenery. So I think that we should allow her to be the genius that she is and create whatever she's creating, and then see where we go from there. But I do think that if we're all about diversity, right, we want to be shown in other people's, then let's start to be the example. Let's start to show people, hey, we could uplift you too.
I'm going to ask you to wrap it up because I really want to say something
Oh
to
yeah, sure, I
Afro.
wrap it up. It's
Thank you.
plane is landed.
Okay. Latasha Harlan, Akai Gurley, national protest to keep Peter Liang out of prison. Protest in New York to keep black children out of the elite schools. Touching elders in Brooklyn to the point that Brooke, our beloved Brooke, who's a New York FBA reparationist, had to shut down a shop and then ensure that the person who put their hands on the elder didn't go to another shop to work. I've personally been boycotting these people, minus this app, since 2016 because of the things they have done to our community. So I never said that in the beginning of everything, but people who are familiar with me understand who I am, what I'm about, and I got smoke for everybody. So
Mm-hmm.
at this point in time, if I'm standing on delineation and Black American, foundational Black American business, that means I ain't supporting this mess,
Mm.
right? And those are the reasons, because yes, we want inclusion, but we broke every racial barrier. And let's not forget, Chinese did enslave people on this land, hence Charles and Ing Bunker, who have Black descendants to date who met up with their Asian family. So we asking for inclusion with people who subjugate us, who locked us out of the hit industry, locked us out real tight. So I'm all about correcting, boycotting to correct behaviors, but their behavior hasn't changed towards our community. And so y'all can support who you want, but remember who BX is, what BX is standing on, and we got people, actors. Like when they said go to the schools and get this one and that one, we can go there and get Black Americans. Hopefully, we can support our own because Hollywood is really erasing us.
Mm. Okay,
Watch how
and I want
Icon.
I know a
Yeah,
lot of other
I'll
people.
land.
Yeah, thank you. I know a lot of other people came off their mic, so I want to give other people a chance, and then we have a new speaker on here, and I want to give her a chance to give her take on the situation. I will say, as far as asking for or wanting diversity, there's a difference between wanting representation in stories, just blanket stories. But as far as foundational Black Americans are concerned, I don't see us requesting representation in other people's cultural stories. Like, if this was a story about Asian culture, Japanese culture, Korean culture, or something like that, I don't see us asking for representation in their cultural stories. Or even if this was Hispanics, I don't see us asking for representation in a Mexican story about Mexico or something. We don't ask for. We understand when it comes to culture, they want to keep it about culture. All right. So as far as like, oh, we want representation, so we should give it to them. No, no. When it comes to culture, when it comes to like culture, like HBCUs and growing up in a Black household and everything like that, no, that's not the same. But some other people wanted to speak, so we haven't heard from uh CC
Yes.
702. So you got it.
Well, to speak on what the young lady said, the first young lady that's 26, I think she said, we're always the one. Why is it that everybody expects us to be diverse, but then they're not diverse? We created everything. The culture is us. Everybody imitate us. They take our stuff and then they refurbish it and then make it whitewash everything. And then we find out later that it was us that invented everything. Every genre of music we created. Everything that's invented, we created and had the patent stolen. And then whenever you go to the Asian culture, if you're not Chinese 100%, Japanese 100%, they do not allow you to be part of their diversity. They don't believe in diversity, but they want to take it and make us they want to take advantage and then have the audacity to be very arrogant about it and then throw it up in our face and then say that we're stupid, we're dumb, but then you're copying everything that we do. And then you try to steal it from us and then we call you on the carpet about it, then they have a problem with it.
Mm-hmm.
So what she's doing about an HBCU, that's why HBCUs were created in the first place because we wasn't allowed to go to their schools. So we had to create our own schools and put out educated people and everything like that. We had to fight for our own stuff. So why is it that we got to show diversity whenever they don't want to show it? And a sense of entitlement is just disgusting.
Yeah, and I think that that's the thing. Even if we wanted to, our thing is why do we're it's not even the fact that we want to or don't want to, is that we're expected to and demanded to and forced to. It's not as if we even have the opportunity to close the door. Because the second we say, okay, well, this is just for us, so we're going to close the door right now, we're going to have a family meeting, we get told, nope, you can't do that. You can't do that. Everybody else, they can share if they want to share. But if they don't want to share, they don't have to share. And nobody says anything when other people don't want
Affirmative
to share.
action.
But it's only when we say, okay, well, it's time for us to close the door. It's all like, oh, that's wrong. You can't do that. Can't close the door. You got to let other people in. You got to be nice. You got to be fair. When do we have boundaries? That's my thing.
And
Share,
another thing,
it would be one thing if we can have the opportunity to have something to ourselves, but when do we ever have the opportunity to just focus have on ourselves, just highlight ourselves? Why is it? It's done so much. It's almost as if we're ashamed to do it, where we gotta apologize. We gotta
Affirmative
apologize
action,
like we're
Nacho.
doing something wrong. You know what I'm
Affirmative
saying?
and then
action
on,
is
Like,
and
born.
then and getting back to what you were saying that you're
I'm
saying,
sorry.
the host,
Mm-hmm.
um, we built the country. We were here thousands of years before everybody else showed up.
Mm-hmm.
And then when we tell people that, and then we have it on paper, it's built in history. We have the mounds to prove it. We have caves that's incorporated within the Grand Canyon, and we show them that we were here first, and the paperwork shows that we were here first. Then the immigrants want to argue with us about that we don't know what we're talking about, but they're coming over here and they're leaving a colonized place that was a country that was colonized. The white people kicked them out before and treated them dirty. Then they come over here to the United States, and then they want to get with the white tea people and then think that they're white tea. And then whenever they get dogged out and the white tea people let them know to their face, no, you're not like us. You don't belong. Then here they come to us wanting us to help them out. No, we're tired of that. We're tired of being the ones that's giving in. We're tired of the things that they take advantage of. And then the sense of entitlement comes in like,
Mm-hmm.
you have to do it because I said you have to do it.
And
That's
and
what we
and I
get
get
tired
One
that.
of.
minute,
And
one minute, one minute,
hold on, hold on,
y'all.
hold on, hold
Affirmative
on.
action, Afro Elite is going because of them, correct? Affirmative action, them
Exactly.
and
True.
Edward
Yep. They were
Drew.
used as a weapon against
Right.
affirmative action. Yes, that's true. And they wound up
They allowed
suffering from that.
themselves to be
And
used.
my thing, and I'm gonna say this, unwritten sister. I know you said you wanted to say something. Um, Wait, Cece, were you done?
Yes, for now.
Okay, okay. I'm gonna say
Yes.
something else. The whole thing of, if we don't want it done to us, we shouldn't do it to them. The two wrongs don't make a right argument. Sometimes, can we tell the truth? Sometimes, honestly, you know, the whole two wrongs don't make a right. Maybe
I
sometimes it
have I
do.
have see
I don't know about not
I
all
have
the
something
time.
that's I have
Maybe,
something to kind of
maybe sometimes we need to show people a taste of their own medicine. Maybe sometimes we need to give people a taste of their own medicine. Because we do not have Asians going out of their way to give opportunities to young black women in Hollywood. We do not have that. When they make shows about them, they make shows about them, and all of the cast is Asian. Okay, they don't sit up there and give opportunities to black folk like that. Not in their businesses, not in their representation. Like, hey, maybe actually keeping the same energy that everybody keeps with us, because we've shown people how much we can share, and they say, okay, that's cool, but that don't mean I'm sharing with you.
and
Yeah.
We've shown people how
I
much
have
we
a
That's
thing
share.
about that.
understandable, right? You wouldn't. Oh,
I have
But
a
go ahead.
thing
man,
about that.
hold on.
Sometimes the right thing to
Let's
do.
let everybody give it a chance
Okay,
to say what they
I just
gotta
want to
say.
say there's one thing. Sometimes the right thing to do is not always the best thing to do. And whenever immigrants come over here, they get the houses, they get the loans, but they don't want the immigrants to be in a white tea neighborhood. So they come in our neighborhood. They don't hire our people. They go to the white tea schools, but then they come in our neighborhood, like I said, and do business. Then when you walk in the door, they following you and watching you, thinking you're going to take something. Don't touch this, don't touch that. And then instead of them giving jobs to our people in our neighborhood that they're doing business with, they would rather have a child, their own child or their family member work that can't even speak any English because they don't want to give us a chance, but they using everything in our neighborhood and taken away from our neighborhood because we get taken twice. They bring in the money, they come in, and that's something taken away from us. And then whenever we patronize their business, they're taking that money and going back to their white tea neighborhood or sending it back home. So we're losing twice out on things that our children can get and that we can get. And we're tired of it.
And can I say something real quick, host, or do you want me to wait?
Yeah,
Because I can
just
wait.
hold on for a second, because
Okay.
unwritten, she wanted to say something.
Yeah, I can piggyback off of that. Like, what we're doing isn't wrong. Like, that's the thing. Every culture does this. This is cultural preservation and cultural protection, making sure your culture is represented accurately. And there's nothing wrong about centering Black Americans in a Black American story. Like, it's our culture to be put in center. There's nothing wrong about that. And so I think, I can remember her name real. It's like you're trying to weaponize diversity against our community. in order for it to benefit another community. That's not what diversity is supposed to do. Like I think Afro mentioned it. When we talk about diversity, we're wanting everyone to be included in spaces that they are in already. So if we're in a corporate setting and you want representation in a corporate setting, then you want that across the board. When we're talking about cultural assets, Asians aren't even asking for representation in Black culture. They're not even busting down the door to say, hey, please represent us in your HBCUs. They're not asking for this. No, we didn't ask for this. Asians didn't ask for this. So to try and sit up here and try to defend it as if this is just such a gap that has been missing for decades, that this is the representation that everybody, that we've been needing, no one is asking for that. And so I also wanted to piggyback on what BX was said when it came to affirmative action of any community to talk about diversity. It will not be the Asian one. The Asian community does not incorporate diversity at all. So they are not the ones to be, the child here or the poster child here of the way in which we can utilize that as an example. No, our community has been the most, if we're going to use it as like, be the change you want to see, our community has been inclusive. We have been fighting for every other group. I mean, even in Keke's language, she's using people of color. In like, it is a Black American woman who is promoting a Asian woman who has no recognition in the industry. That is leading by example. And no one told her to do that. Like, we're not telling her to do that. So we as a community have always been inclusive. So I think it's very disingenuous to try and say, well, you need to do this as if we've lacked it. Every other group or every other community has not incorporated diversity. They have not incorporated Black Americans in their businesses, in their media, in any part of their culture, even in their community. When you go into little Chinatown or Little Japan, you don't see Black American businesses there. Like why are we acting as if it's a two-way street? And I think what we need to understand is reciprocity. That's really the word here, is reciprocity. We have no issue doing for another community that does for us. And before, we never really require reciprocity because we're kind, just out of literally the kindness of our heart. We're an open people, but we've been taken advantage of by doing that. And other communities know that because they have been able to benefit from our openness. And we have no issue with openness, but we are just done being the stepping stools for other communities to get visibility. Now we've just acted as a stepping stool to an unknown, woman who we have no idea to, when her community would never be a stepping stone for us. And it's just like, it's one-sided at this point. That's really the main issue, is one-sided. So you can't come to us and tell us what we need to do and how we need to incorporate this and support this when it doesn't involve us, when no one else is doing it. No one else is doing it. So we cannot continue to operate out of a disadvantage at this point. And that's what it is a disadvantage to us to continue to operate like this because everyone else is able to move ahead. Everyone else is able to progress and meet the objectives of their community, whatever it is. Everyone else is able to do that. And we're attempting to do that, but you have people in our community who is still trying to censor other people when we have work to do. And it's like, if we're going to have some sort of allegiances with any other community, it is going to be reciprocal and it's going to be beneficial for us. This film is not beneficial for us at all.
Sorry.
Sorry. But yeah, no, I just want to
after
state.
you're done, no, I shouldn't have interrupted. After you're done, I'd like to speak. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
If that's okay with the host, I want to respond to Evelyn. Okay,
All right.
thank you. All right, so I wanted to say that, the thing about it is we can go around all day saying they don't do it for us, right? But let's imagine we're back in the 19.
No, we're not.
No, we're not.
We're going to imagine that we're in 2025 and what they have done for us.
But you're not allowing me to speak, so therefore you can't even see where I'm going with mine.
If we're going back, we're not going back. We need to stay here.
I'm not.
That don't make no sense
But hold
though.
on, can you let me
Here's the
finish
issue.
though?
Here's the
Can
no,
I
no,
just
no,
started
no. One
speaking,
moment, one moment. What is
but
your
you don't know
name?
where I was going.
Zero to
I said
one
three
hundred.
words.
But I
Yeah,
think
you
that we
move.
get the gist.
Man,
You
you know,
want us to
some
be
sorry.
inclusive of other
But
people and
I
lead
didn't.
by
But
example,
BX,
right?
I didn't even get to
But
finish my
here's the thing, and you know
sentence.
what? And I don't know because I think people aren't realizing what really happened here. When you came off your mic and you were filled with wrath, you want to start talking in another language. I want to tell you, if you don't know what's in my hands and my profile picture, that is tarot cards. I create oracle decks. My name is spoken in ceremonies I'm not a part of. I'm not even in the area. So you need to calm your wrath down because you don't even know who you're playing with. So I think I've really heard enough from you. We're not going back. We're moving forward,
You did.
and we're
Yes, we
demanding
are
our
moving
respect.
forward.
We're demanding our
Ma'am.
respect. And this is an English speaking
Yes.
platform,
Please
and you will
allow me
speak
to
English
speak.
here, ma'am.
I haven't.
Okay,
What
hold
are
on,
you
everybody.
talking
Everybody,
about?
hold on. The, let me, because essentially what I got from just the few sentences that you
A few
said, or
words.
actually
Few
the few
words.
words you were saying,
Thank you.
you're pretty much. It seemed as if you're going to repeat the exact same stance. You're going to repeat your stance again. Imagine if we were back then. How would we want to be treated? So this is how we should be treated.
No,
Because I'm
no, that's
okay.
not where I was
Okay, if
going.
that's not what you were gonna say, because that's what you've been saying the whole time. You've literally been saying the whole
No,
time
I haven't. I
of
don't think you guys
if we
understood
don't
where I
like
was
it, we
coming
shouldn't do it
from.
to somebody else.
But
So
no, no, no,
if
no,
that, I'm
no.
gonna give
That's
you a, I'm gonna be fair, man. If that's
yeah.
not what you're about to say,
Nah,
what are
man,
you
she said
about to
enough,
say?
bro.
Okay, I'd like to make it known that I go to a PWI institution, okay? My home institution is Berkeley Law, which is majority Asian, okay? And so what I want to say is that and where I was going is that if I'm not saying that I get what the host is saying about, it's time and time again we're treated this way. We're tired, right? But we're told not to get weary, right? With doing the right thing. You're not supposed to get weary. You do get weary. That's gonna happen. But we're told not to get weary. And so my thing is that I believe we should, before I say, I want to be told when my life is gone, when I'm in, a different place, I want to be told you did the right thing, and so my whole point is that when it comes to representation and things like that, imagine you have a house, right? And let's say it's some type of house that helps you with something. I don't know, maybe people come to get medical care. I don't know whatever, food, whatever, food drive, something. It's a house where predominantly black people go to, right? Oh, this is a pro-black area. When people go into this house, you're gonna be welcome. Imagine an Asian person or a white tea person or another person coming. I want to be able to share my story about, hey, when you do come into our section, when you do come into our areas, this is how you are treated, right? I want that to be known. So that way, when I come into your space, I'm gonna analyze, I'm gonna observe how I'm treated, and then we can move forward, right? I'm gonna offer you the olive branch before I say you said F me, so then F you. No, first when you respond to me, when you give me a horrible type of treatment, I'm gonna lend you my hand. And if you slap my hand out the way, I'll know the second time maybe that's not the best approach. But how you guys are coming from it, when you can use all the buzzwords and educative words you want, but at the end of the day, it stems down to you treated me this way. How should I treat you? Oh, well, the right way is I'm gonna give you your taste of your own medicine. No, no, that's
Man,
not that's
you
not
know
that's not
what I find
spiritually
funny,
inclined. That's not you're not I
man.
don't care. Hold on. I'm a land right now.
Man,
Whether you're religious, spiritual, non-religious, whatever, I think we all have a type of moral compass that leads to kindness, love, and things of that nature. And when you refuse,
man.
hold on, it's not a strong man. When you refuse to treat other people the way you're treated, then you have not done the right thing. You
Okay,
are not being the
now
best
what's
Oh
funny?
person.
What I
Lord,
find funny. Hold on, let me say
battle.
this. What I find funny and why I let you go on is because you did exactly, precisely what I said you were going to do. I said it seemed like from the few words that you were going to circle this back to the same talking point you did before of if we don't want it to happen to us, we shouldn't do it to them. I said that's exactly where you're going. You said no, that's not where I'm going, and then you started talking, and that's exactly where you went. You went to the same because you've been on that the whole time. You just repeated the talking point of we shouldn't do wrong to other people. Ma'am, let me say this. Let me make this abundantly clear. We are not obligated to represent anybody except ourselves. We are not obligated to extend an olive branch to any other community. We're not obligated. It's not the right thing to do. You keep framing this as if this is the right thing to do. This is not at all the right thing to do. Okay? This is an entertainment project. You make it seem like we're discriminating somebody coming into a hospital or something like that. No, no,
it's
ma'am,
political in a
ma'am,
sense, right?
stop.
Wait, but
This
I
is
want to
a
have a good
ma'am, hold
conversation with
on.
you.
No,
Hold
you
Yes.
already
on,
spoke.
ma'am, cut that
Okay.
out. Stop doing
Yeah.
that.
I
Stop
Okay.
can't.
Yeah,
doing
you're
that.
taking up everybody else's
Okay,
time.
stop
Let
doing
other
that
Well,
people
because
well,
you're
talk.
I
what
feel
you're
like I'm the
doing.
Let
only
Stop,
others that
opposition.
stop.
want to talk.
Because you're gerrymandering at this point. So
Right.
stop doing that.
Gerrymandering it.
Ma'am,
That's what
stop.
you're doing because when
You're a
you talk,
distraction
everybody
at
else
this
is
point.
quiet.
Gerrymandering.
When
You're a
you
What
talk,
distraction.
stop. When you
gerrymandering
You're
if
a
you do it one more time, I'm
distraction.
is?
gonna
Distraction.
stop doing that because when you talk, everybody else stops, and then when other people talk, you keep coming off your mic. This is not that. This is not how we run this room. All right. This is not the right thing to do. We're not obligated to show anybody else's representation in our cultural space. They do not have a right to do that. And that's a backwards logic of thinking. We should show them another olive branch, and that way when they disrespect us, we can say, "Hey, haven't we been nice to you? Haven't we welcomed you? We've already done that." There would be this would be some crazy, it would be a far reach strategy, but this would be a strategy if we had not already been doing that. We've already been extending olive branches to everybody else. And the thing is that we've learned from that mistake. How many people, let me ask you this, how many people have we had to put on from outside of our community? We keep putting them on. We keep welcoming them in the culture, whether that's entertainment, whether that's music or whatever. We welcome them with open arms in our culture for them to then blow up, use our culture as a vehicle for them to get to the top, for them to get some notoriety or stardom, and then them look back and say, hey, I'm rocking with my culture. And then they start dissing our culture. We do that time and time again, where we allow people from outside of our community to blow up off of our culture. And then when they get big, they come around and then they start waving their own flag and they act like they didn't know us. Okay. And if at worst, they start dissing us. Okay. We've learned from that mistake. The reason we learned from that mistake, the reason why Fat Joe blew up is because of black culture. And then he goes around, starts dissing us, dissing black Americans, dissing foundational black Americans, talking about lying about hip hop and all of that stuff, saying the N word left and right, blowing up off of black culture. J-Lo, hell, blowing up off of black culture. We can,
Oh, that
hell,
part.
Akon,
Oh,
hold
not
on,
that
hold
one.
on. Akon blew up off of black culture, then turned around and say we should forget about slavery or we need to let slavery go. And we can go on and on and on. Folks blow up off of black culture. Vanilla Ice, Eminem blowing up off of black culture, and then they turn around and they'll disrespect black American people. So we're now at this point in time, it's insanity to keep doing the same thing and expecting people to act differently. We gotta move different. We have to move
To
different.
mute me out.
And we are
Agreeing with
not,
the
and I'm gonna say this one more time, we are not obligated to represent anybody outside of our community.
host. I got a galaxy for me and you to go 2 minutes with each other, because it seems like I'm allowed to speak.
What,
So
ma'am?
Ma'am,
Please,
you
we don't
did
even
the
know
speak.
who you
galaxy.
are.
I
You
know
don't
that.
No,
have a
no,
name in
ma'am.
any arena, ma'am. Why would he debate you for a measly galaxy, ma'am? Don't insult his intelligence. He's talking to his people. It ain't
I said
about you no more. It ain't
$100
about
worth.
you no more.
Ma'am, no
It ain't
thank you. I
about you.
decline. I decline. Because you've been
Thank you.
saying the same thing the
Thank you.
whole time.
Change
You've
words her
literally
weight in
been saying
salt.
the same thing the whole time. Even when I say, hey, you're about to say that, you say, no, I'm
Let me
not.
drop a
And then you
lion. You
say
want
it.
me to drop a lion?
No,
You
I
want me
want
to
you to
drop a lion?
drop from the
Ma'am,
panel,
there's
Let's drop
ma'am.
nothing
a
you can
I
do.
want you
I
to drop
decline
from the
that.
panel,
so
Don't
ma'am.
do
1 minute.
that.
Let's do
Let's
Ma'am, no,
not do
what?
nothing. Go to
Okay, here's the
that
thing.
Asian and debate them.
Here's the
Debate
thing,
them.
BX. Now here's the thing, ma'am. I haven't brought this up, but I got to bring this up again. You are a little bit too passionate about this. You're a little bit too passionate, so that's making me kind of wonder. You said you're
Right.
around a lot of Asians. Are you perhaps dating an Asian man or
No,
something?
I don't.
Where is
I don't
all of
have.
where is this passion for
Yeah, let
It
Asian
me.
could be
representation
Nigerian and
coming
Let
from?
me.
Asian.
But
Because
BX.
you did say
I
you
mean,
were
not BX. I'm
Nigerian, so
sorry.
I'm asking, like,
Yes,
this is a little
host.
weird.
But host, if you would allow me to, when you say something, allow me to respond. I won't have to keep pressing my mic. I understand that other people want to talk, and I'm not the only person on the panel, and I want to
Good.
respect that.
Please wrap
But
it up so other people could go.
yeah,
Won't be no
but
debate.
as of now,
Won't be no
BX, I've been
debate.
talking for 15 seconds.
Okay,
Allow
go
me to
ahead.
Ma'am,
speak.
you co-opted the
Oh
whole
my
like about
gosh.
45 minutes already.
Yeah, we've been on.
No, yeah, we've been going back and forth, but
Okay.
I'm saying in the
So she's
moment,
playing
can
in
you
our
allow
face.
me
She
to?
has an agenda. She wants to debate, but
Ma'am,
she ain't worth it.
there's
Can you run your
She already
man,
gave her points already. Like, come on,
run your
ma'am.
man,
panel?
Ma'am, stop.
hold on. I want everybody to stop, ma'am. I get your stance. I disagree. You disagree. We're just gonna
You know,
agree to disagree
right?
on this. There's
I
nothing to
understand
debate.
that. I understand that, and we're not debating. We're having a good conversation. And the thing about it is,
Get
this
him
is
out
the
the
only
chat.
thing I'd
You already
like to
talked.
say, and then I will pass the mic or even drop.
Ma'am,
Jesus,
if you're
what I'm
going to repeat yourself again,
I'm
we
not
get it.
repeating myself. This is
Now you
lesbian.
said you weren't repeating yourself the last time, and then you
Okay,
repeated yourself. So
understood. What I'm saying
okay,
is this is not on the topic of Kiki right now. This
hold
is
on.
on the topic.
Let me
Oh,
ask
go
the
ahead.
audience a question. Do you guys think that she's going to repeat herself? If you guys think that she's going to repeat herself, put the 100% emoji in the chat room. I'm sorry, I got to do it to you because you did it last time. Go ahead. Let's see if they're right. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. So what I'm being muted.
Go ahead.
Being muted. But okay, so what I'm saying is that you know, can you
Okay,
tell your host to stop muting me, please?
go ahead.
What I'm saying is that when you look at leaders, right, or whatever you want to call them, any type of leader that has come about in the BLK community, right? The greatness of a leader and what makes a leader great is that there are many options that may seem better than one another, right? They may seem like the right direction, the right point to take, all that goodness wrapped up in one. But the thing that makes a leader great is that he analyzes all his options and said, this is the one that is necessary, not the one that is best, not the one that is great, not the no. It's necessary to move us from point A to point B towards the path that we're headed to, right? And so, and I think that a logical thinker, a scholar, right, a leader is going to move in the direction that it works best for the goal at hand for its people. And so that's why I keep saying and I keep repeating myself on that. I understand your guys' point. I get it. I felt that. BX, can I finish, please? I'm almost
I'm
done.
saying, oh Lord.
Okay. So what I'm saying is,
We need Jesus, y'all.
I've said one point, I've said time and time after again, I said that I understand your guys' point. In fact, I empathize, I relate to your point because I get it. I felt that way as well, right? However, as I stated again, that leaders choose the best option for the people. And so what I'm saying is you have to not only look at what negatives can this situation bring about, but what positives, and do the pros outweigh the cons. And what I'm saying is that when Keke Palmer
There she go. There she go. Back to Kiki. Back to Kiki.
Something's wrong with you,
As
man.
the
Your
leader of this
elevator doesn't go all
platform,
the way
just the
to the top.
platform, the people want her dropped.
Something's not clicking with you.
People want her
I think that
dropped.
you have never
People
had
want
Okay,
her
that's
dropped.
everybody can't talk at the same time.
something's
Right.
not clicking
So
with
as
you,
a
man. Your
host,
elevator
right?
doesn't go.
And you know what,
I
ma'am? Your Nigerian babble is foolish. The whole chat really wants you dropped.
okay,
Minus the immigrant. Shut up,
okay,
immigrant. Shut up. Yep, very.
Can
Very.
I ask her one question?
okay,
Oh, never mind.
Thank you.
okay.
So I
After
wanted to ask her, what does she think is the positive for the community with this film per se? And I think she's trying to draw like, oh, well, this we're showcasing that we're wanting to be inclusive with the Asian community, then that's going to, encourage them to be inclusive with us.
Okay.
But the thing is, we've had films with the Asian community, like Rush Hour. I don't even know that, like, we've already done this, and the Asian community still responded with dust. So there is no difference here. We're choosing to believe people for who they are at face value. We taking these rose colored glasses off. We want the whole world to be inclusive. They're not. We want everyone to love and be kumbaya with everybody. They're not. We are projecting our community onto other communities. We're projecting our openness, our welcomingness, our inclusive. We're projecting now, and we need to stop.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Hey,
I would
I'll
like to
say
say
something.
something.
Everybody stop.
Oh.
Okay. Just need a second. As far as this is concerned, and I'm gonna say this, we absolutely do not owe anybody representation. Now let her speak. I was letting her speak because I wanted you as the audience to be able to be proven right. I said, do you guys think that she's gonna repeat herself? All of y'all said, yep, she's gonna do that. She swore up and down, no, I'm not, no, I'm not, no, I'm not. She just repeated herself longer. She just took longer to get to the point. That's all she did, was take longer to get to the same point she's been making the entire time. Now she's going back to civil rights leaders. That's how deep it is. That's how deep it is. She's talking about the civil rights leaders always made sure they did the right thing. Ma'am, what are you talking about? You're doing this for a show that she herself said she hasn't watched. She herself says she hasn't watched. Now she's talking about some damn black leaders and the civil rights leaders always doing the right thing and making the right sacrifices. What are we doing? What are we talking about? Why is it? And I want you guys to see, because when you when you let them speak long enough, they wind up exposing themselves, which is why I asked, why is it that deep to you? If everybody else in the panel is saying, no, that's not what we should be doing, you are staunchly advocating for this Asian representation at a HBCU. There's hundreds of people in the room who disagree with you. Okay. There's everybody on the panel disagrees with you, and you're literally going back and forth and advocating firmly with conviction that this is the right thing to do. Why is it that deep? Why is it that deep?
Then they kill me. They kill me when they wanted you to know that they African American, like as if we didn't come from that era.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a little bit too deep, man. It's a little bit too deep now. Something else is going on. Now, we're going to wrap things up because I got to be up early in the morning, and I'm going to be in a bad mood. Well, not a bad mood. I'm going to be in a tired mood when I wake up in the morning because that's a couple hours. I literally got to be up in a couple hours. What am I doing? What are we doing? But anyway, go ahead. Go ahead. We having a good one.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, man, see, what happens is, we get these uppity Negroes, and what they do, man, they like misrepresent us. And then they be like, oh, we want representation, we want DEI. No, that's not what we want. You know what I'm saying? That's not what the vast majority of us want. You know what I'm saying? Because if that was the case, the Democrats would have won, right? So a lot of us didn't vote because they misrepresenting us. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And what happens is we get forced into these situations where we voting for the Democrats or whoever because they pushing this fear mongering. You know what I'm saying? It's systematic. You know what I'm saying? And we got to figure this stuff out because what's happening is they basically conditioning the younger folks too, right? Because when I was young, I used to think the same way. It wasn't until I got older until I started seeing the light of what's going on, right? Maybe actually COVID, because I had more time to reflect. But when I was young, I was thinking just like her. You know what I'm saying? So that's the thing. It's like a lot of us, we're not really paying attention to what's going on. We're just following the lead of people who are misrepresenting us. You know what I'm saying? They've been doing that for a long time, and the people that's misrepresenting us are people who are looking out for their own self interest, right? Um, it's not people who's looking out for the interest of the community,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because what we're doing is we pushing our own displacement, literally. With
Mm-hmm.
all this all inclusive, I don't see no Koreans got no Black Americans up in Korea playing starring in none of their movies. I ain't never seen none of that, nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? We
Mm-hmm.
done with all of this, making people stars. BX already talked about it earlier. And the thing is, she didn't want to. She was so delusional. She didn't want to hear it. We making good points. She's still trying to refute it. So that's what we up against. You know what I'm saying? And I'm glad that you let that play out so people can see the delusion that comes from these freaking liberals, man.
Mm-hmm.
They literally destroying our community. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Erasing everything, just giving everything away, giving away hip hop, giving away, everything we've done, we got to include it with everybody else who did nothing. I'm tired of that, man.
I let that play out because I know a lot of people were like, Afro, why'd you let her talk so long? Why'd you let her talk so long? I want you to understand she's really a representative of all of the people who argue that we need to be inclusive. She's kind of like she kind of has the same mind frame of everybody who argues that we need to be inclusive to quote unquote people of color. That's exactly how they sound. They give the same talking point of, well, if we don't want it done to us or if we don't like it, we shouldn't do it to somebody else. Now, we've had pretty much everybody on the panel voice intellectual disagreements. I'm not saying we just disagreed or said we cussed her out. Every single last one of us, for the most part, broke it down, said, no, we don't agree with that. This is why we don't agree with that. We've done that. That's a mistake. We don't we broke it down so well. And then back to the same talking point of, well, it's still wrong. It's still the right thing to do. It's still the right thing to do. You can't articulate why it's the right thing to do. You can't articulate how it's a benefit. You can't articulate why this shouldn't be a black woman instead of an Asian woman. You can't articulate your points, but you keep saying it. That's a representation of everybody who talks about how we need to be inclusive. So you know.
Host, can I say one thing, please?
Yeah, and then we'll get to Portiz, and then we'll start wrapping things up.
I just wanted to say that she's very young because she did say she was 26. She hasn't even lived long enough to even understand what she's talking about. She has not experienced life for real yet. She ain't been knocked around yet, but at the rate she's going, she will be because she's hard headed, like the rest of us were when we were that age. But well, a lot of us listened to our elders so we wouldn't be as dumb. But anyway, you can't tell her anything, and she wanted to drop the fact that she went to Berkeley to law school, but she don't even know anything about her own culture, and she believes what everybody else says instead of the black people that knows what we're talking about. So she'd rather believe that, and she probably listened to that old crazy K-pop that ain't nothing but reincarnated R&B music and stuff that they copied off of us and dress like us and don't even know where it came from. All that stuff they doing is we've already done. And then the girls, the Screaming Demons or some group they got out, they copying HBC girls the way they dance in the stands. So she's not even old enough to even realize what she's saying. And then she said that God is of love and everything. And he also gave us a brain to use to have common sense.
Mm. Yep, that's true. That's true. But we got to understand, though, we do have to understand, like, at a certain point in time, if you're old enough to sit up here with adults and argue a point down, like she was literally willing to pay to debate. That's how passionate she was.
That
I
part.
think she
She's
was
that
being coached
invested in it.
too.
Then, oh yeah, you old enough to be checked, though.
Yes,
But
If
yes.
you
Afro,
willing to pay to make this argument, and the only reason she didn't is because I declined. I said no, I'm not doing that.
thank
I
you,
literally had
Afro.
to decline that multiple. She like, I'll pay you a galaxy, a lot. I don't even know how much money that is. I'll pay you a line in
It's
it,
like
a dinosaur.
$10 if
I
that.
really don't even know how much money that is. I just said no. I don't really. I'm not trying to do that.
Afro, I believe at that point she was being coached. Um, if you know what I mean. And that probably was her goal all the time. But she was a distraction. And then I was looking at her in amazement, hoping that my people caught on too. When she came off her mic and she was so angry at me for saying that the percentages changed, she started speaking in another language and dropping the Orisha's names. And then want to turn around and act like she all sweet and nice. This is what they do. And the reason why she was mad at me but sweet with Afro is because that's how they all are. Watch the immigrant women and how they are with Black American women who stand on lineage business, but they try and butter up the men, hoping that the men supersede what the Black American woman says. I've seen it on this app since I've modded for FBA men, and I feel like, and New York hosts are so friendly. I feel like, stop being so friendly, tussling with the men. But women can sniff it out. She's not as sweet as she seems, y'all. But I think that there's a possibility she could even be part Asian. She admitted she had a Nigerian parent.
Yeah,
Y'all
all of that.
remember that, right?
You being very vague. First off, you came off wrong, being all vague with your lineage, and then she said, "Yeah, I go to school with a lot of Asians." I'm all like, "Are you dating one?" She didn't answer.
Yeah,
Like,
you
cause
right about that.
you are passionately, and it's not even logic at this point. You are invested emotionally. So there's a reason that she's not saying, but she's invested emotionally. Either she has an immigrant background or she's dating one of them, but her investment is way too deep for her to be willing to pay to make an argument after repeating the same thing over and over again.
You
Nah,
mean
nah,
like
it's
ten
something bigger than
dollars,
that.
Afro? For you, that's no real money. $10 to debate. That's not. Come on.
For me,
She's.
yeah,
She,
it's really, and I
yeah.
ain't even
No.
trying to be that guy, but like, what's $10? Like, I'm really okay. I'm not even trying to be
You're
like
right.
that, but like, come on now.
And it
They,
could
they
be
love they love
the
Africa,
allegiance.
but they don't seem like they're not researching Africa. Because the first thing comes out of their mouth is Nigeria.
And, and it could be that she has some sort of relation to the Asian community, but also I think it could be people are just going to be on the opposition of what is ever beneficial for Black Americans. Like
Yep.
they have a level of disdain or whatever you want to call it. It doesn't really matter what group it is. If it's on the opposing side of what Black Americans want, then that's the side they're going to be on. Because it doesn't even make sense to, like you said, go hard for a film or a TV show that you have never even seen and you're not even a part of that community. So it's just like you're almost just being contrarian at this point. And that's to me what it gave a little bit more of. It's like she's just wanting to be contrarian. That's why she didn't really have an argument. And she just kept repeating herself. Like,
Yeah,
so I'm like, if that debate that y'all would have had would have been very short. So it and I think people are just, and like BX said, it's just a distraction at the end of the day. Like it truly, all of this is a distraction. Like no other community has to have these freaking conversations about other cultures being represented in their culture. Like it's not even heard of. And I just think it further keeps us away from doing what we need to do. You know what I mean? Like it just keeps us on this freaking wheel and we're tired of it.
She got on pause whenever you all told her that Nigerian wasn't even called Nigerian until whatever year you all said. She got quiet then. She had to come up with something else.
Yeah, that would tickle
that's
me.
very fun. That's telling. Let me get
Just
to Portiz.
after just sitting back listening for a while, it just brings me back to when my mother used to always say, "Everybody want to be black until it's time to be black." You know what I'm saying? You like they want to be us so bad, but they gonna run from these problems that come along with being black. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just sitting back listening, and it's almost just like disgusting because we are the only group of people that deal with this constant attacks of infiltration. Like you just said yourself, Afro. She literally tried to buy you out. It's sad. Like
They reaching into the money bag to get into whatever we got going on. I agree with you as well, BX. I just seen you on another panel not too long ago. You've been hitting and cooking all night. I'm just saying though, like I'm getting a bad taste in my mouth when it comes to these other what race of people or ethnicity. Well, I don't know how to say it. I'm just getting a real bad taste in my mouth, man, and I'm just ready for the revolt at this point. I'm posted in Detroit, guarded,
Mhm.
just ready to kick the door open, swinging, man. And I'm gonna
Yep.
mute down on that.
Yep. Yes, indeed. Just notice that. Now watch her go in another room or watch her make a post talking about how we bullied her, which is why I kept. I'm like, let her speak, because it. Those are the people who, when they lose an argument, they start reporting us the live, talking about how we be bullying people. We don't bully nobody. We were more than fair. We were beyond fair. Okay, we were more fair than what we needed to be. Okay, we heard her talking point or whatever the case is. We disagreed. It's not that deep. If you still believe what you believe, fine, cool. Okay, but no, she was not going nowhere again and again. I'm like, hey, we ain't gonna be doing that now. Come on now. My brother Coach, if you want to say something real quick, and then we're gonna close things.
Yes, sir, Afro. Hey, look, Afro, you know, I come up in the 90s in Chicago doing the hip hop era where it's too, everybody was wearing the fresh gear and stuff. And it just so happened I was one of the dudes that worked at the clothing stores. You know, we had 63rd and Halstead, you know, Roseland, Commercial Avenue. I worked in all those areas because once they would hire one brother to work there, they try to keep him and rotate him, right?
Uh-huh.
Look here, man. I got to say, out of everybody that I ever worked for, man, them Asians is different, man. They ain't got no respect for a black man like the Asian, like the Arabs. They at least they, hey, my friend, hey, how you do? Till they try to learn your lingo and stuff. But them Asians, hurry up and buy. Hold up, Afro, hold up. I'm getting something for you. It's a signal from the future from the Asian girl. She's saying, she never thought she would win this award, and since she did, she would like to thank Hoi Toy, Mang Lee, and Orange Chicken. All right, man, I got to go, Afro. Uh, Peace out, my brother, man.
Peace out. See, and that's it. What I tell you. How many people have we bigged up? Didn't we? What's that one basketball player who did that? The dude who happened to be Puerto Rican when he won an award. Who did that?
Carmelo Anthony.
Carmelo
Carmelo
Anthony. You know
Anthony.
what I'm saying? How many times do we have to big people up? Our culture be putting people on, and then the second they get on is a shout out to China, shout out to Korea, shout out to my shout out to my Afro Latinos. That shout out to them. Okay, Zoe Zeldana, she did that. Oh, she didn't say no black thing. Oh, as a what Latina, as a Latina girl, then they start talking with an accent. Okay, they start talking with
The
their
accent
ethnic
be so
accent
thick.
all of a sudden. Then they shouting out their own culture. Oh, and I got inspiration from Japan and China. We see that all of the time. We be putting folk on, and then when they get on, they act like they ain't never seen us before, and we done with that. We are done having our culture used as the stepping stool for these other people to get put on. That's over with. That's over with.
Give you a reminder. Remember the Asian lady who said that we were cowards or something? The Asian influencer?
Hmm.
Like, come on, y'all. Well, my people were on code in this room. It was only her. But we have an Asian influencer who kind of crowbarred her way into our eyesight, speaking up for us before the protest started.
Hmm.
And now that the protest started and we said we're not putting our bodies out there, we're cowards and we're this and we're that.
Hmm.
We got to stop giving people. Lately, I've been, and Afro knows this, I've been asking people to support our media, our platforms, our content creators, and for our content creators to kind of get the verbiage right so that we don't throw one of us under the bus trying to make a point, get out of the industry politics. This is sort of industry politics. There's a form of erasure going on for Black Americans. We have an Asian influencer disrespecting us, and now Timberland did the Asian rapper simulated video. Now Keke Palmer, we see that Hollywood is casting all the Africans. And you know what I noticed with AI? If
Hmm.
I asked them to recreate an image the image starts looking mighty African, and people are like, they can't tell. We look alike. No, we don't. Living in New York, I could tell some who are Caribbean, and I already know who an African is. We got to cut it out. There's an agenda at play here, and when people like that come up here, they already have their mindset. They're not trying. She overpassed all of the disrespect that I started stating. Latasha Harlins, Akai Gurley, national protest, locking our kids out, putting their hands on our elder. You mean that's not enough to boycott and keep them out of our movies and films?
Because my thing
That's
is, it's just a movie. She made it seem like we said no Asians allowed in the neighborhood. We talking about a damn movie or a TV show. She damn near pulled the "What would Jesus do" card. Like, what? Why are you going this hard on for this? She went hard in the paint, talking about some civil rights leaders. We not talking about we should segregate from Asians and we should ban them from human rights and human resources. She made it seem like we plotting to attack their community. What are you talking about? Like, she literally made it seem like we plotting against them or something. No, we saying, can we have a TV show to ourselves? She all like, oh my God, we fallen from grace. Read the Bible.
Wait,
Ma'am, calm down.
I just want to add on. I just want to add on to that. I was just recently doing some research on black cinema and how they used our own images of black self progress against us, and how we need to get back to having our own black cinema. And you and you was hitting on that a little bit, man. We definitely need to get back to that, man, where we produce our own stuff to be consumed by our own people, straight FUBU style.
Absolutely. Shout out to that. Yep, that's definitely true. And we spit some hot game here. So this is why you guys need to follow For the Culture on YouTube so you can listen to the playback of this, because there was a lot of good information in this live. And you need to be following so that way when we do another live on different subjects, you guys can make sure that you guys see that, get the notifications of that, and then you can join the panel.
Afro, before you go, you heard about what happened to Andre Williams?
No, what happened?
When the white folks beat on him, they was tossing him and pushing him and knocking him down.
No, I didn't hear about that.
When you go online or whatever, look it up. They were beating on him.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna check that out then.
Who's the lady who's the lady that's at the top and she's got on a red jacket and she just spoke right before this man spoke. What is her name? Because I want to follow her.
BX. Is BX the gatekeeper?
BX gotta accept you.
Oh, okay.
I've been trying to follow her for 2 months.
Thank you.
All right,
Hope she accepts me.
BX, can you close this out real quick?
Sure. I have to ask you, Afro, when will you be coming live on TikTok again?
I wanna come on live tomorrow, but there's something important I got to take care of tomorrow morning. So if I get back early, somewhere throughout the day, then I can do that.
Okay, because I really don't have class tomorrow, so I can make myself available at any time. Also, I want to just put this out in the air. I would like you, if you have like a free morning, like 9 a.m., just to test the waters and see what type of crowd you draw in. Because I don't think we necessarily came live at that time.
You're right.
Yeah. So I just want to say, great show, guys. Thank you. The chat didn't act up too much. We were on code. Sorry for the distraction, but it happens, right? And so I'm going to be peeking in the comments after you publish this because I like to just see what they say about me. If they say BX be doing too much, but for the most part, everybody gets it. So I love you all. Love, peace, and light, and reparations to my foundational Black Americans, those of the lineage. As we move forward, let's do so with grace. I love us for real.
All right. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.